Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. No startup video. We just jump straight into it. I need to get a new introduction, people. That's why I'm not using the old one. Time I move on. You have to move with the times. But thanks for being here. My normal cantankerous self is gonna say as soon as you come in that you need to hit the like button, and there'll be a constant reminder throughout the evening for you to do so. I'm looking at my iPad and my thing here says I'm 41 seconds in and my iPad just started up. So I guess there's a delay in the information or a delay in this medium in terms of when it gets to your device and when I execute. Good night, Eagle. Good night, Flyby. How's everyone doing? Hope you had a good day. It's Easter. I ate bun and cheese. Bun bad for you, but me buy a bun tonight. I haven't eaten bun in a long. I don't think it's the first time I've eaten bun this year. I think actually, but I try to stay away from such sugary products. DJ Fatal, bless up DJ. Thanks for joining. I appreciate each of you who come and could do something better with your time, but you're here hang out with me. We have some good discussion this evening. Many of us are still. Every time I see something playing about the World Cup coming to here, and I hear all these songs being made about the World Cup, and then realize we won't have any songs made about Jamaica. Maybe some sad song actually, and then realize that that we had a golden opportunity to get to the World Cup, and because of a variety of reasons, and we'll touch upon some of those as we go through this interview this evening, we haven't achieved our objective. It is beyond sad. It's beyond unacceptable. And those of us who are getting up there in age realize that we hadn't gone to the World Cup since 1997. We got qualified in 97. So it's what? This year is about 29 years, almost 30 years. And a number of you probably weren't born yet, actually. So you have no idea what it's like to get to a World Cup. Now I hear Flyboy crying about spilled milk. Flyboy, it doesn't know whether handball or not, and it probably was. And I think it's disappointing. As I would, if I was a JFF, I would go to FIFA, write a complaint, file a lawsuit, because I don't know what VAR was doing. It seems so, I wouldn't say it seemed obvious, but I don't know how your hand, which is tucked in, how you hit your chest when your chest wasn't lean facing the ball. So they should protest, they should file, because there's a lot of money on the line, and see if they can get some kind of compensation for an egregious error. That's all. Otherwise, they're not going to the World Cup. King says, Doug says, whoa, back-to-back streams, Kranky. What have you been done to deserve them? Well, it's probably sort of talking about the same subject, actually. You could milk this subject, hey, King Duck. You could milk this for another week, People still trying to get over what transpired, so you can't milk this. You can't milk this. Fly said, that's a lot of money on the line I could go to. Yeah, they should. They probably won't, because you know how they are, but I would. I would be trying to find a lawyer, figuring out what the cost is going to be, and file some kind of thing with either with FIFA or some kind of, hopefully have an arbitration panel, because that's an egregious error. But VAR was there for a while, and VAR did, unlike in the Premier League nowadays, where they sort of announce what transpired and sort of explain to you, VAR didn't explain anything, and they didn't send him to the monitor, which doesn't make any sense to me though. I think they should protest. I actually, right after someone from the JFF sent me the video, and I responded to them that they should go up to FIFA immediately and protest. That was my advice or suggestion. So I'm sure they probably were thinking about it before, and I have nothing to do with what they're deciding to do, but they should. Why wouldn't you? What do you have to lose? Except maybe a few dollars for lawyers who can be expensive. So no, they should. I'm sure FIFA has a formal complaint process that you may not have to spend a lot of money to get access to. So yeah. Yeah, they should be protesting. That's a no-brainer. Any person with common sense would do that. It should be the first thing that comes to mind. And they should do it sooner versus later. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't say you're gonna protest. You should be doing it right away. You have to get to these things when they're hot, when they're in the public's mind. Every single day, it goes further and further away. Proximity to the occurrence is important. DC said, apparently a YouTube video from years ago, service from Mrs. Speed said, yes, I did see that, and someone sent that to me today. It was the president. Well, he was sort of baited into it. It wasn't something that he initiated. He was baited into saying that he would resign. And obviously, he's not going to resign. That's not happening. The president's not going anywhere. No way, shape, or form. Iran says they're going to. The last time I read something today, Iran said they're going to play in the World Cup. So now, no matter how much war is being fought, the World Cup supersedes wars. Apparently. By the way, people, it's 40 something in you. People. Well, don't love to hear me so miserable. I got chastised today, I won't say by a family member, because they believe I am too emotive in this environment and I'm not composing myself in a manner reflective of the family. So I have to be on my best behavior, regardless if I'm triggered or not, if someone initiated anything that I may not be in agreement with. I have to comport myself in a manner reflective of what my family says is how we behave. So, because I think if I come in this environment, there's a different side of me that's showing up. So I'm going to try my best to ignore the comments which triggers me, and just focus on those. Which I'm gonna be like Maverick, the one that I love. The comment that I like, let's put out the one that I like, and the other one I'm gonna close my eyes, let me not see them. Let's see how long I can do that for. Let's see how long I can do that. Yeah. Well, what up, people? Somebody send me a voice, man. Obviously, and then just send it to me too.
Good night, Kranky. Deacon here. Me have an interview with Mr. Speed in person, similar to the one that I did last year.
1 second, people. 1 second.
Person, I'm for reach out to you for see if you have any questions you want me to ask on your behalf, or where you want me to ask on camera to him. So, may I prep for the interview now? So if you have any questions you don't want me to ask him directly, you can just send me and find a way to put it in the interview.
All right, so people, I apologize for that. Somebody sent me a voice I need to listen to, and they may need a response from me, but I may not be able to give it to them because I'm online. Tonight we're going to talk about the we're going to go through the Rudolph Speid interview with KLAS Omega. Interesting conversation. I was listening to the program. Well, somebody texted me and said it was on. I was listening to it. People were asking me to call in, but I didn't call into the program because I thought it was too restrictive. The criteria, as Rudolph liked to talk about, for the football team, the criteria for the radio station in terms of your questions were too restrictive for my liking. And you run afoul of them, and then you walk away very perturbed, upset, annoyed. So I decided not to put myself through that. So I didn't call in. But I did listen in, and I was frustrated. And I text one of the hosts to express my frustration with the direction of travel. And I hear Fisherman give me a hard time last night, saying that I always critique the questions that's been asked. But when I critique, I'm always providing my perspective as to how I would pose it. So then you can critique, anyone can critique what I'm saying to say whether or not what I'm saying make any sense. Because sometimes it's not that you ask a question, and it's not even the subject of the question, it's how you position the question to ensure, not only from a clarity standpoint, but also, are you achieving the objective you're trying to achieve with your question? And so it's an interesting interview. So I'm going to play the interview. It's a long interview. It's just over an hour. So what I will do is I'll play it, and then I will stop it and respond, right? Probably the best way to do it. I'm going to start now because I don't want to be here for another 4 hours tonight. Let me just take a couple comments before I do so. Muslim said, you can start by conquering Jamaica College and its champs victory. That's more reflective of your family. I am very happy for Jamaica College winning champs. Us in Kingston College believe in sharing. We have our brothers and sisters I would say our brothers in Calabar and Jamaica College. Jamaica College once in a while turn up. They're never around most times. And when they do, we want to be hospitable. So we give them a title so they can feel good and hopefully they'll come back next year. Right? We take some time off to recover, regroup ourselves and come again. And we will come again. So Musvin, enjoy yourself because it won't be for long. Select a poncho. Blessed night, Kranky. If these guys have an integrity and love Jamaica, they would resign, let another set of leaders take over. But like politicians, they're going to stay as long as they're not resigning people. That's out of their mind. Rudolph going with the coach is not resigning. Kranky Speid was correct when he asked them as a reporter how they don't even know the name. Yes, and we'll talk about that actually because I thought that was interesting. You hear me beat traditional media in Jamaica, so don't be surprised. They're lazy. Kranky Speid was correct when he asked them as a reporter. Yeah. They're lazy. They're lazy. All right, let's go into it. Let's go into the interview. Let's jump into it. So let me set the stage. Rudolph Speid in his first, what I'm going to call sit-down interview, subsequent to Jamaica being eliminated from the World Cup qualification, sat down with Orville Higgins and Christopher Zinedine. What's his name? Is it Campbell? I'm forgetting his last name. Matthews, sorry. Christian Zinedine Matthews, who are co-hosts of a radio program, Sports Desk, on KLAS Omega Radio. And they had a pretty long conversation, over an hour. The format was that these two hosts have the latitude to ask whatever they want to ask. But most of the questions they tried to obtain from the audience, they had some criteria, which is you have to sort of go straight in and ask the question. You couldn't set up the question. You couldn't have everything surround the question. It couldn't be nuanced. It has to be almost direct and straight. And you get 2 questions maximum. Right? And a lot of people were asked the questions. The questions covered the totality of the World Cup campaign, along with the JFF and, Rudolph's role and expectations going forward. So let's jump into the interview. Bless up triples. 6551. Let's go into the interview. And what I will do, as I mentioned before, as we go through, I will stop it and provide my perspective on the question and also on the response.
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Let me know if you can hear these people.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Speid. You want me to ask the first one, Arvin?
So I like to do this and stop it. Okay, you know what happens? I'll get myself in trouble. Can you hear that? It's very important. I hope so. And this is not the picture, people. Rudolph was on the phone. I just put this here as a way. So we have something on the screen. Can you hear what I just said? Can you hear? Yes. Okay. Here we go.
All right. Mr. Speid, are you the head coach now for Jamaica team or are you the technical committee head?
Neither. My contract expired with the JFF on the 31st of March as the head coach, and I had relinquished the position as chairman of the technical committee from last year when I was appointed as the interim head coach. So I'm neither.
So you are now only the director at the JFF?
Yes.
All right.
So let me say this, because I'm going to provide context as we go along. So Rudolph's role initially as Jamaica football, from what I know, has been this. He has Cavaliers and the JFF. At Cavaliers, he's the sporting director, he's the coach, and he's also the owner. At the JFF, he was a board member, head of the technical committee, chairman of the technical committee, and currently, so that he was then, when he became interim coach, he suspended his executive activities on the board and also as the chairman of the technical committee. As you just alluded to, he will no longer be chair of the technical committee. It appears he's still going to be a board member. That's not clear. And I'm not sure which coach in the history of football has been a board member of a national association. I assume if he gets anointed coach, because right now he's not the coach, right? He was the interim coach, contract is up. So I assume if you get appointed coach, he will not be a board member. But then the question you ask yourself is, will they ever bifurcate those roles for him because of his importance to the JFF? Even if he's the coach, he's still going to be consulted on matters administratively that affects the JFF. But that's just my perspective.
Well, there's lots of time to talk about the future where Rudolph Speid is concerned. But let's look back at let's start with the two away games, or the two games in the playoffs. In that Gambia game,
Not Gambia, Congo.
Why do I
you
keep
call him
saying
Zambia? You call him
everything except Congo.
Or Zaire before.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the questions that I've heard a lot of people asking, which seems legitimate to me, is was Rudolph Speid, in hindsight, wrong to leave out Whisper out of the team?
I didn't leave him out. The criteria and the criteria he made, the condition he couldn't make, and those were clear to everybody for months. So listen, you want to get in this squad, where's a do or die game, this is what you got to do. It didn't satisfy the condition.
And at the end of the day, if what do you say to those who say, were those criteria appropriate, seeing that players with apparently less abilities like Fuller and Ellis from Racing, that
who said they had less abilities? They haven't gotten the chance. Who said they had less abilities?
well, most Jamaicans think
we see them every weekend, Mr. Speid.
would be ahead of those in terms of quality.
Yeah, but the criteria and the conditions there, not those. So you're saying if you have a car in a garage that is not being driven, it's better than one that drive every day. You're not sure, and that's where the uncertainty come in. So yes, you saw those players play week in and week out, and that was one of the criteria they made it, and we included them.
So just one thing, just for your information, if you may not follow the football and the criteria, the JFF, what I just call criteria, are policies or standards, which is putting in place because it says it's a way to be transparent to its audience or to its constituent as relates to the football. So the criteria or standards are that 1, you have to have a contract with a top 20 team. 2, you have to have, if you have ever played for the Reggae Boyz, you satisfy the criteria. And 3, you have to play in the top league in the country you're playing football. That's the criteria. The conditions are a little bit different. The conditions are like around performance, for example. Are you performing? Are you fit? So those are the conditions. That's the criteria. I have said this multiple times, which is the criteria are somehow conflicting because you could play in the 21st league in a country, which is better than the JPL, for example. And if you're not a past Reggae boy, you have a contract with a top 20 team, you'll not be eligible, which makes no sense. So for example, say USL is not a top 20 league, but you're in the USL, but USL is much better league than the JPL, you wouldn't be eligible, but a player with less ability in the JPL would be eligible. So they have to revisit these criteria because somehow it's sort of conflicting in some respects, are not fit for purpose in some instance.
And the truth is they were all replacements. They were all replacement players.
Why were they not on the bench for at least?
Because we only could put 23 on the bench, so we have to leave out 4 every match.
Okay. That one will remain.
They were replacement players, and they were right here.
Right. That one will remain with the public. That they would have liked to see Whisper here. But you're saying no regrets. But my final one on this. I remember in the Bible when Christ once said to his disciples, the Sabbath was not made for man, but man for the Sabbath. Rules should be made, but still should give you your best team. Now you're saying you don't know if Whisper has that great ability.
You could do another local politician and say the law is not a shackle.
Well, there you go. Why was the law a shackle in this case? Can
out them with those things. I know those things. So, but it wasn't that the law was a shackle. But what we tried to do was to get transparency. Before, people never had an idea of how players were picked, why were they playing? And Jamaica people, long and wide, was always saying that the JFF is not transparent. Nobody know what they're doing. This time, everybody knows what they
Mr. Speid, but they will point to the fact that there's a central defender who was absolutely brilliant for me against Congo, who is not playing regularly at all for his club, and you're predicting based on history, knowing his quality.
No. Listen carefully. That player was playing at the #1 league in the world.
All right, so Mr. Speid, one more, because we have a lot more questions and the public is there. my understanding of the rules was that once you had represented the national team before, then the rule about the league team would playing in the top leagues wouldn't be necessary. Did I get it wrong?
So there was the rule to make you, maybe you call it eligibility rule, that was the first step, but after that there was conditions. So for instance, when Zidane asked the question, you should go back and look at the minutes that have been played by both players that he's referring to. They played almost similar minutes for the year. But if the number one league in the world, if you see how they keep the players that are not playing, the condition that they keep them in the same condition almost like the players who are playing, because they have the money, the resources, they give them individual training, they test them. And plus if you put all of those years that player has been playing, it's easier for him to just get back in
that player is Ethan Pinnock, right?
Yeah.
Just for
But wouldn't Chelsea be a club that would understand and know how to keep a player in shape for him to be ready? And then he went on loan to Leicester, and I think that club is at a level as well, Mr. Speid, though.
But you're still against it, and not even it's a far equivalency. The guy was playing in the academy. It wouldn't be the same. That's a far equivalency, bro.
All right. If you feel Whisper right now is not in a better.
No. I'm not saying I'm plus some of the players who went, like you couldn't put him to play defense where Ming play, or you couldn't put him to play midfield where something to play. So there's also
no. I'm saying Fuller. If you think Fuller is in a better space now to represent Jamaica than Whisper, then okay.
No. I'm not saying what you say is not even true enough. I'm saying you are equating different things, and you talk about a defender who has played nearly 20 years. So the thing is that you're all over the place with that.
Yeah. Let me ask you one last question. If your life depending on it, and you wanted a wide player to come and help you to save your life right now today, you would choose Fuller over Whisper?
But who tell you that Fuller was going to play? He didn't even suit.
No, but he's in the squad.
No. But I tell you, you're asking some questions when they're relevant. And the next thing, did that player that you're talking about play in the qualifiers, which was easier? I'm just asking.
That's Fuller. No, he did not.
Not Fuller.
Oh, Whisper. Yes,
Yes,
he did. He did, and I thought he did okay when he got the opportunity to do so.
So none of them I would put them to play for my life, then, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. All right.
Here's one more on Whisper before we move on. There's this nagging suspicion that continues to make the rounds, that the reason why you didn't fancy him was because of disciplinary reasons in the past, or because of an underlying conflict with Butler. What that's the final one on Whisper.
So again, you guys have a sense of past equivalency. You have never heard me, Rudolph Speid, said anything bad about him, his players, his clubs, or anybody or his family, right?
Right.
So and you have heard the opposite, right?
Right.
So how come is me of the issue? You know, see, it's all on one side. Past equivalency again. I'm not going head to head with him in anything. And then when it comes to coaching, you know how far ahead I am. So there's another fast equivalency. I have no issues with him. He's the one with all the issues.
Public with Sunko. One more question. CFAS. Coming on.
So before we get to CFAS, because when I addressed each of these things, I thought, so here's where I get critical and people are going to say, Kranky, you're picking at straws, but it's true. In an interview like this, to me, I think you go big picture first, then you go minutia. So you start with a more holistic discussion about the World Cup qualification process, about what transpired, about what we are. And then you're putting in questions to say why we couldn't get over the line in this last game. They went right in with the Whisper thing, because if we go local player, that's the where we focus on. It's not a holistic perspective initially. It's not a big picture and paint a picture for the audience. And then you get into the minutia that informs that big picture. It's really interesting the way they've gone about it. Also, and the hosts may not like this, but they're not as informed as they should be. Now, and maybe I'm a little bit harsh on that, which is some of us who follow the football 24/7, frankly, and as can identify what Rudolph has said in a number of different forums about a lot of different things, understand the so-called criteria, policy standard, and the conditions, and understand know who the players are, all of that. some of these questions you would be rephrasing them or not asking them at all because you have had the learnings historically about how things are, and it wouldn't be a case where you be uninformed, you got to ask a question. So the question about Whisper, even though I think Rudolph did almost inferred that it was other than performance why Whisper was in the team. And the question about Whisper versus any other player, say a Fuller, I don't think Rudolph answered that question appropriately or the right way. You brought locally born players in the squad. Was it because of money? You didn't want to bring other people to fly too far? What was the rationale? Because they're the ones who got left out when he came, so they ended the bench, right? They weren't part of the process. They weren't individuals who were part of the squad for the game. You could only have so many players, but he brought 27. So that was interesting. The question about Fuller versus Whisper I thought interesting. Fuller is a center forward. Whisper is a winger. They don't exactly play the same position, and Rudolph didn't even push back on that from that context. Also, it's a fair question by Zinedine to say Pinnock was not playing regularly. In fact, he's only played one regular season game and a few cup games. And Whisper is playing in the academy. And the question he asks is, if you're saying the Premier League is ensuring that its players are up to standard when they're called upon for league games, but what Zinedine is saying, well, even in the academy, given the training methods employed by those organizations, wouldn't he also be in a good place? Now, and even when you go to Leicester, which is a Premier League team and they're fighting for relegation, would he also be considered? So I don't think Rudolph did the best job of answering that. I understand the differentiation between a Premier League team and an academy or a championship, but he's been at the championship now since earlier the year. It's 10 games. To me, that still didn't resonate really well. So I'm not sure there's total transparency as to why Whisper wasn't called. Maybe the question should have been, and it wasn't a Fuller question. Fuller's a center forward. Of all the wingers, Tyrese Campbell, Mason Clark, Leon Bailey, Norman Campbell, was Andre Brooks, so they played in midfield at a position. That should be what Rudolph was using as comparison of what they should have done. Should he have come instead of Norman Campbell, right? I don't hear anybody talking about Dixon nowadays, but when Dixon played the last game for Jamaica, I didn't hear anybody talk about Dixon. They talk about Whisper. And Rudolph sort of inferred that Whisper didn't play in the competition. He did play, and when he played well. Whatever 10 or 15 minutes he got, when he came in the game, he played well each and every time. Slowed the game down, but he played well. So there's a case to be made for his inclusion regardless of his playing time, because there were some players like Pinnock who weren't getting game time, even though he's a veteran, and even though I think he was brilliant in the last game. I was very good in the 2 games when he came, because he's been a veteran and a really good player over time. I, for one, pushed back on him being included given his lack of playing time, but he proved me wrong and proved a lot of people wrong. So I don't think the answer here to me sufficed to me. I think he sort of just sits out there as to Whisper's lack of inclusion. I had heard things about his behavior was not conducive to what is required given the new regime. And Rudolph seemed to not have addressed that. He seemed to have moved on to make it about his manager or his agent versus the player himself. So anyway, let's keep going.
And the entire Jamaica was a little bit puzzled. Why was he playing in the center of the attack as a number 9, as them said these days?
So I wouldn't be the only person that plays him there, because even for his club, he would have played there. So you need to follow the game.
Right.
He would have played there also for Jamaica before. But what happened? I had 4 forced changes: the whole of the midfield and the left back. They were cramping, they couldn't continue. Those are all forced changes.
Hold on, say this again. You had 4 changes that were all forced.
Forced, right? So I was there coaching the game, and then that wasn't the plan. I had 4 forced changes.
Remind us of those changes again, for those who don't remember.
So Webster couldn't run anymore. He had the cramps or injured. There was the 3 midfielders. Well, definitely 2 of them was out. Couldn't manage.
Which 2?
Well, Hayden cramp.
Well, Hayden. Yeah, and Farmer
and Casey.
Yeah, and Bobby. We had always planned to train Bobby. So those 4 changes was forced upon us. We didn't really want to make them. Now we have to try fix, because there will be a technical specification before every game. You have an idea who you're going to take out and who going to replace who.
Right.
So we have to be fixing on the fly. And we'll try our best to keep them as long as possible, because I think the changes was made like in the 18 minutes before we make any change. So we kind of work out what our best team would be. All right, no, probably a little before that, maybe the 7th game.
It was before.
Yeah, but so we were trying to work out what our best changes. We had what our best changes would be, but when the changes was forced, now we had to be recalibrating. So what we did with CFAS was just catch him in the middle, because I want him on the field for a while. It gave us an advantage because that guy ran at 36 point something kilometer per hour. So it gave us an advantage to push back the defense line, because they don't want him to get behind them until we're able to figure out the rest of positions. And once we figure them out, we're able to put back CFAS on the wing and make the changes as we see fit. And he did well. So it's easy to just coach a game without having any under pressure. But when you're under pressure and things not going your way, you have to improvise till you get it right. And that's what we did.
All right. One of the tell you what, I'll open the phones. I have some more questions, but the public now must be itching to get their questions coming. So let's take the first one.
So let me talk about that for a little bit. I think the coaching staff made a mistake on that. Rudolph said he had 4 forced changes, and he have 6 changes in total. I think he mentioned all the whips, midfielder and Webster. But CFAS came in the game for Bailey Cadamarti, right? So maybe you want to change Bailey. So what you would have was Tyrese Campbell, Bailey Cadamarti, and Leon, I was going to say something smart, but Leon Bailey, right? So let's think about this. So they put Cephas as a center forward. Now, I had proposed Cephas playing center forward for different reasons. If we play a 3-5-2, because I watched him play center forward against the US, thought it was very effective. So I didn't have a problem going to center forward, but I don't think Rudolph's answer to me suffices, and here's why. So we have Tyrese Campbell and Bailey playing both wings, and we have Cephas in the middle. Now if he said, I don't want to put him on the wing because his defense is poor, that's a fair answer, right? Even though eventually he went out there. Okay, you want to maintain, because he mentioned Bailey played defense in this game. That's what he mentioned. Secondly, Tyrese Campbell has played center forward for Charlton. It's very important, people. And this is a good example of how when you go through this process, you realize how knowledge is an imperative and is very important. Not just knowledge, not superficial knowledge, not topical knowledge like you hear people like Maverick talk and don't know what they're talking about. It's in-depth knowledge. You have to have in-depth knowledge. So Tyrese Campbell has played center forward for Charlton multiple occasions. Leon Bailey has necessarily played center forward, so he'd be on the right wing. Cephas' position is on the left wing. So you can put Tyrese inside, put Cephas outside. But if you're saying defense is a part of the issue for Cephas, and you know one exposure, I think Wan-Bissaka would hold him down, then yeah, you may need him at center forward, right? Secondly, it's important. He changed Bailey Cadamarti. I had no problem with change. Bailey had a horrible game. Cadamarti had a horrible game. Seriously. You look at his stats, they're horrible. I think he touched the ball must be 17 times. He had 10 turnovers. His passing was like 5 of 10 or something. He just had a horrible game. Even though the service was poor, because we're kicking his long ball, his control was off. But Leon Bailey didn't have a horrible game. He was a 12th man for Congo. Let me repeat that. He was Congo's best weapon on the field. So if you're going to make a change, and I asked the question the other day, which is, if you're going to make a change, do you look at the performance of each player and say which one is the least I can afford in this situation and make a change accordingly? Leon Bailey played with a lot of effort. He tried. But sometimes when you try and over-try and it's not working, you got to be put out of your misery. So I made sure I brought this with me. And people say I don't like Bailey, and I keep emphasizing this because it's important. These are his stats. I was going to go on the internet today and ask AI if they've ever seen anyone in any game, professional environment, have so many lost position in 90 or 120 minutes, frankly. So that's 120 minutes. I have never seen it. I don't know if it's there. His rating was a 5.6, which was 0.6 worse, which is huge, than any other player who played, including Cadamarti, who was 6.2, and who I thought was bad. He was 1 of 6 dribbles. His job is to dribble. I think Campbell must have been 2 of 4 or 2 of 3 dribbles, actually. So he had better dribble than Bailey. He was 4 of 16 on ground duels. That's as bad as it gets. So this player, my question would have been to Rudolph, given these stats, do you have somebody on the bench who is checking stats on a continuous basis to then supplement what you're optically seeing and telling you what's transpiring? Because sometimes what you're seeing sometimes is not the reality of what things are. It's a combination when you do this assessment between the stats and also what you're seeing with your eyes. Because sometimes your eyes are deceiving you. And I was talking to somebody the other day who thinks he's a football guru and says stats can't tell him nothing because he knows everything about football. And those are the morons that are having the platforms that basically people listen to on a 24/7 basis. But at the end of the day, if you're making a change, this player has to be removed. In fact, if you look at his passes versus possession, he's a negative 12. Just pass the ball to somebody, not going away. He's a negative 12. This cannot be okay. And I don't think the question was answered in the right way. The fact of the matter is, Cephas could have gone out wide on the left. He could have gone out wide on the right. I had no problem in going down the middle, but they weren't playing up the field for him to be effective, because when he's effective is when you're playing a high line, so you can get behind the line, right? So the change to me wasn't the right change. Kadamari could have come off, but not applicable. And I was told this, I wouldn't say in comments, I was told this, that one of the midfielders wanted to stay on, but they took him off. That's what I was told. Won't say which midfielder. Let's keep going.
Hello.
Yes, ask your question.
Are you hearing him, Mr. Speid?
Yes, I'm here.
Good.
Yeah. Who is this and what's your question? Prophet.
All right. So my two questions are: first one is, Mr. Speid, why did your criteria apply to those who already play for the national team, especially that final game against Curacao in the national stadium? And the second question is, based upon all that has happened, why should Jamaica trust your judgment any further?
All right. Prophet, hang up for the
Hang up and listen to the response.
I like the fact that you didn't wind up and get into the whole LB.
Very, very direct.
Not the 45. How you answer those two, Sir Speid?
Well, the first question, he talked about Curacao. I was not in charge. I can't decide what the criteria is, because contrary to what everybody believes, I've never picked a team before I was made interim coach. I don't pick any team. I don't pick any players. And every single coach in their contract, it is written that the coach has total jurisdiction over the selection of players. So if any coach don't pick the players that they want, it is the coach problem, not the JFF, not us. Every senior team coach every single coach or coaching national team get that ability to be able to pick who they want from under 14 all the way up. Nobody interfere with them. So that's the first part. So the Curacao game, I can't answer that. The coach pick who he wanted to pick. And the second question, he was asking why would they trust me?
Why should the public continue to trust
I'm not telling anybody to trust me. I have my contract up. I am not. I don't have any job. You don't have to trust me. My contract is up.
Yeah.
But I have coached 4 games, 1-3, and even the 4th one, at full time it was still 0-0. And let me put it against this background. So I checked, just in case nobody else don't want to check. The value of the total Jamaica team is $54 million. If you value all the players in the Jamaica team. The value of the Congo team, $154 million. You see the difference? 3 times. What that coach have to work with, value 3 times what me have to work with. So it's like you telling me that a Voxy and a Mercedes-Benz clash, and you're telling me that the Voxy will win the race.
Mr. Speid, you know what is one of the interesting things? A lot of your critics are prepared to say that based on that game against Gambia, you got marks, but they feel that as so if you were being judged purely as a coach, I don't think that too many people, except for that
yeah, because everything comes into one though, Mr. Speid. So you were the technical head, you're the technical head, you hired the wrong coach, then you advised the wrong coach, and then you were a coach that was in the end now not helping us you feel to qualify. So when they look at everything on a whole, that's where you're getting the beat now. You have to understand that.
But you see, you guys are talking that is not so. Whenever I recommend 4 coaches, the board decide who are the coach. Is not
come on, Mr. Speid. They accept the recommendation. Don't they accept the recommendations most? No, but don't they accept your recommendations most of the times?
Me say we always put up multiple people, bro. But that's me I tell you.
So you're not taking.
Me can't help you if you don't want.
You're not taking the blame for the hiring of Steve McLaren.
We recommend them. Did I ever run from that? We recommend more than one coach. It was 4 coaches we recommend, and that's what we do for every post.
Yeah. Here's the other one. There were 3 new selections.
So before we go there, let's go back to the question around why they should trust Rudolph. And he says he's not the coach, so why should they trust him? The hosts, they make me frustrated, not gonna lie. They're making me very frustrated, just not expounding on certain things. So the question is, why should I trust you? You're a board member, you're the chair of the technical committee, and here's the problem with the questioners. They're not as exposed as they should be to the history of Rudolph Speid, the JFF, and the football. So they can't bring in previous comments, perspective, and situations to inform this discussion, which is very frustrating. By the way, Brain Drain, thanks for the super chat. And Brain Drain says 4 games, 3 wins. We're going to touch upon that. So in essence, it's a brilliant question, which is, you want to be the coach. That's what they should be saying. You say you're not the coach, but you want to be the coach. Do you want the job? Yes or no? He can't say no because he does want the job. If you want to be the coach, you're a board member, you're chair of the technical committee, and this all go awry, where we miss out on the easiest workup in the history of mankind, then your judgment is poor for the recommendation. Your judgment is poor for keeping the coach in the role, right? Your judgment is poor in a number of instances, not just as a coach. And you're a technical advisor. Your judgment is poor there. Because you're a technical advisor. And the man took us to the Gold Cup with 2 midfielders. And you watch him and see him, and you realize he's not up for the job. You should have recommended as a technical advisor that he be fired. In fact, you were his boss. So when you say you only assist and not insist, that makes no sense to anyone. So I don't understand why these hosts would not push back and bring all these things, bring this together to inform the discussion to say, no, this doesn't make sense to us. Now, this idea of I won 3 out of 4 games. Wow. That's a big time average, 75% average. Few people have that winning percentage. But it's a very small sample size. And people have asked the question, why did we play those 2 games in the first place when they were meaningless? Now we know. Now we truly know. And we had New Caledonia, who was not good a team. So if I have a 75% batting average, it's one of the best probably in football history for Jamaica. I think John Barnes probably have it better. And I'm not sure anybody's a better one. So he could retire tomorrow and be in a 75% winning percentage for being a coach. It's interesting. But I do think when you're doing this interview, especially when it's 2 of you, first of all, you should have like 100 questions you come up with. And the questions are categorized. And you're thinking through what answer I get and what my response is going to be. You're actually doing the check before you get into the forum. So when you get there, it's a whole different discussion. And now I understand, so I'm going to put myself in the mix. I Rudolph don't want to come on my channel. Because I've been trying to get him to come on, people. He refused. He refused to come on my channel. Dead fuss. Now, he may say, because we have had previous confrontation, in way back when, a couple of years ago, when he said he's not come back on YouTube, and he come back. But he has gone on everybody's channel, and I've asked him multiple times. I'm not going to ask him again to come on the channel. And he doesn't say no. He will say, I can't go on everybody's channel. That's what he says to me. But but other people are in other forums are texting and say, when you go on Kranky's channel, he will not come on my channel. I wonder why. Anyway, let's keep going.
Did they let you down in the end? Did you have too much confidence in?
No.
What them name again? Mason Clark.
They didn't let me down.
Give me the names of the Andre Brooks was one.
Yes, Andre Brooks.
Mason Clark. Who was the other one?
And
Tyree.
You see again your problem I have with you guys. Just do your homework, man. You shouldn't be asking this question and don't even know what you have to ask.
No, you have to answer to the public, though, Mr. Speid.
No, Mr. Speid, the questions that I'm asking.
No.
Yes.
You can't get over this. It tells me that you don't even know who you are talking about.
No. I said the new players.
Yes, but you need to know their name.
All right, so we're back on line. Remember the lines you have to call. 676.
I think Rudolph is right. It goes back to my previous comments, people. By the way, people, we have 131 people in this chat. We have 67 likes. Those of you who just came into the forum, please hit the like button. Those of you who have been here, you've been here for a while, digesting information, I would like for you to hit the like button also. All right? I appreciate it. But Rudolph is right. I mean, I think I would position it different from how he did and how he came at them. Because when if I'm interviewing you and you start get rambunctious with me, I'm not going the other way now. Maybe the Rudolph shouldn't come on. Maybe we shouldn't come at Rudolph. I'm going to come at you hard. Because I think sometimes people make mistakes. But he's right in this case, which is the Orville is not prepared for this. I think Zinedine is a little bit more prepared. Orville is not prepared for this conversation. You can't come tell a man about who are the two players, who are the three players, or who you may change for. I mean, you can't do that. That should be something that you know. It's like drinking water. Not a need, but a want, right? Drinking water is a need. But you should be knowing this. You're going into an interview. You should have done all your research about the game. If you're going to ask about the game, what transpired, who got substituted, in what time, what minute, what situation, and you're trying to get answers for these, right? Because if they're focused on the game, to me the game is less important than holistically why we fail, but they focus on the game. So it's a little bit disappointing, actually. And Rudolph is letting them have it, which they deserve.
6968. You're still here, Sir Speed.
Yes,
so here's the question. Mr. Speed had picked some players that the public didn't see before in Jamaican shirts. The simple question is, were you happy with the way they played?
Yes,
or did they let you?
Yes, they did not let me down.
Okay.
But I want to educate the people that are listening to you some more. So
Right.
the highest valued player that I have is Leon Bailey at 16 million. Mason Clark is 10, and the other and Brooks is 5. So just give you an idea of how these players are viewed, not just by Jamaican person who do over parties and view of everything. These players are high value, high class players. That I am honored to have them on the Jamaican team. So there's no scapegoat there, and they played their part. Mason Clark was up and down the pitch tirelessly. Even Hall, who was the lesser known one, came in and showed a lot of quality in a high profile game against DR Congo.
Right.
Didn't turn over the ball. I mean, really good player. So I'm not buying that player, but I'm just saying though, Zidane, you take your shots, but you need to know more about the players before you start to talk that they are not good enough. Right?
I never said anything about how good they were, though.
Nobody never said it, but they're not good.
People out there.
Oh, but you're not repeating.
No, we're just asking the question that they would ask, that they weren't impressed.
All right, let me take another one. 676-6968. Those are the numbers.
So I think Rudolph makes a very good point, actually. That some of the people who are making some of these comments haven't done the research on the players. Did the players underperform? I think they did. I think Brooks had a very difficult first game. He was lost, basically. But he's a very good player if you watch him week in, week out. Players just don't just get bad because they come here and may not perform in a game or so. A lot of players play a game they're not performing, right? Mason Clark is hitting the ball off the cover for Coventry. 7 goals, 7 assists in 30-something games. I think Brooks may have 5 and 3 playing for Sheffield United. So they're good players. It just didn't perform. There's a lot of pressure, and they're playing against a good defensive team. They didn't perform as we'd like them to. But I think the knock they get from a very lazy Jamaica traditional media, they are lazy. They do no substantive work to come to these forums and have these questions, and then they embarrass themselves. And people like Maverick are part of the problem. And Zidane and Orville, I'm sorry, guys, but you got to do better. We can't do the lazy journalism. Now, say Rudolph, look, come talk to you guys. They come, you see, come right to Una first. You know, come to people like Kranky, come right to Una first. He loved those interviews. You right, Rudolph? Come, watch. You Rudolph, you love those interviews. Taking candy from a baby. Lord have mercy. Anyway, we keep on going.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Paul here about Portmore.
Paul from Portmore. Your questions, Paul.
Questions. Well, I never said the match in its entirety, but at the end of the game, man called me and was giving me some stats. And one of the stats
What's the
shocked me
question,
out
Paul?
about
Remember, we
the
said
stats. Yeah. I'm going to ask the question.
ask the question.
So after 120 minutes, we had 5 shots on the goal, 5 shots at goal, 1 on target. Is that true? That's the question.
That's your one question.
That's the one question.
All right.
Is that true? If that is true, therein lies our problem.
Mr. Speid, your response.
So I never know that I am supposed to be anybody's secretary. Just Google it and everybody will know the amount of shots for them take. I mean, come on. People just Google the thing. If there's and then pick out one stat that don't tell the game. If you look at the other stats that shows we had 53% possession, 56%.
Google it, there's it.
All right, Carla, from Portmore.
You make your point, Paul.
Lord have mercy. I'm going to beat this one to death. The caller didn't position the question the right way. But what he's basically saying, we were offensively impotent, and that's why we lost the game. Then Rudolph goes to possession stats. There is no way in God's help, I'm sorry, in God's way, sorry guys, those who are Christian, I would let Rudolph get away with that. Rudolph, come on the channel, man. Come on the channel, Rudolph. Make we have a conversation, Rudolph. People them say we battle. First of all, you can have all the possession you want. 2 counter-attacking teams playing. We get to half line, our offense done. Now, I text Rudolph after the game and said, good job, because the expectations were very low. We thought we were going to get our ass kicked. Sorry to be that crude. And we didn't. We held our own. And we had more possession than they did. But they had much more effective possession. Much more effective possession. They had one time when they were chasing the game, when we were chasing the game, where they had a 2-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and the guy kicked the ball over the bar. They had Wissa had Pinnock in the box. All you have to do probably dip a little bit more left and go right and shoot. They had one where you scramble, where the ball scrambled all over the place and almost. They had so many opportunities. We had none except the one shot Beatty took, which I think scraped the upright. We created nothing offensively, nothing. We had one cross that came from Campbell where barely headed and got there late outside. Apart from that, we created nothing, apart from a bunch of corners. So to make the case that we had more possession against a better team who allowed us in some respects to have possession because how they play football, and when you cross off line, they attack you, and you let them get away with that? Like, really? It was a fair question, but not positioned the right way. You understand the substance of the question, Rudolph. The question was, we're offensively impotent. Why was that? And that was the reason why we lost the game, because we couldn't create any opportunities. It's a fair question. You understood the question. And then the host, instead of reposition the question, they just do what they normally do.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. I have one for you, Mr. Speid. It seems as if you are lacking another, or maybe 2 number 9s. In hindsight, do you think you got that aspect of the selection of the team wrong, that you didn't have another out-and-out striker to call on from the bench?
Didn't get it wrong. There was nobody else to call because I had Cardamart Terry, who wasn't playing a lot in the last, and I had, but he actually played a lot of games over the season, right? And then I had Lowe, who was playing every game for us. But then there was injuries to Roman Borrell, and there was other players who I didn't call that didn't play since last year. They haven't played over 4 months, and even before that, they were not playing regularly. So I couldn't call those players that were. I don't want that to be the standard of any team that I'm coaching to bring players who are not playing for a high-profile game like this. So I had to use what I had.
Okay. All right. Let's go back online then. Hello.
So here's another question, people, where if you follow Jamaica football, you would know all of this, right? Now, they could have asked why he brought Fuller versus Warner Brown, for example. Flip a coin. Nicholson wasn't playing any portion of football. I think he's going to Belarus. As he said, Borrell is out injured. He brought Jamal Lowe in from the Wilderness, who looked a little bit slow when he came on the other day. He didn't have a center forward. He could have gone for Antonio if he wanted to, but he's only played 3 games. So he wanted people who are playing football regularly. But he was short at center forward. That's a fact. Now, maybe he could have said, look, I consider Cephas to be a center forward or Cam to be a center forward because they're played there. Cephas has played there for his club team and he's played it for Jamaica in the past. Cam played it for Charlton. But the hosts don't have this insight to then have a meaningful conversation. It's frustrating to listen to.
My time?
Yeah.
Yeah, ship Pioneer. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, Pioneer. No, Pioneer. That's not going to. No, Pioneer. No, Pioneer. There's a tendency that you have to want to be treated differently from the other callers. It's not going to happen, my boss. I ask you 2 questions and they will do what we are doing from the things. And nobody start me up, Pioneer. Just ask the 2 questions. Yes, man.
Mr. Speid, I heard I heard Harvey asking you about Ronaldo Seafa. So you mentioned seeing him play down the middle for his club. You mentioned his club in Jamaica. Where have we seen Seafa?
No, in my mind, I wanted them on the wing. But I explained before, I had 4 force change, and I had to find solution on the fly. No, yeah, no. But I put him back. I put him back on the wing when I had the opportunity to put him back on and make some changes because
Pioneer, if it does operate different from everybody else and him coming up. 2 questions.
No, man. No, it's fine. No, I don't have a problem, man. No, what I'm saying to you, if you're listening, I had 4 force change, the whole of the midfield and the left back. I had to recalibrate. That's the best I could do till I was able to fix it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but what he's saying, Mr. Speid, though, is why didn't you fix the problem before bringing on him in the striker position?
How can I fix 4 force change when the man then get injured and go down? How can I fix that?
Yeah, that.
No, I could not because the type of player that I had available, I had to take off somebody to put him in the right position at the time because I had to fix those positions first because I couldn't put him to play a central defense midfield. I couldn't put him to play a left back. I couldn't put him to play a 6 or 8.
Who did he come on for, Mr. Speid? Remind us.
Man, you see, I have this problem with people that talk and not even.
No, but we want you to.
I'm not your secretary, brother. Go find out before you ask me why. Don't do that.
And it's the second question. Mr. Speid.
So I think that wasn't good by Rudolph, actually. Right? That wasn't good. Not everybody follow up the changes in the game. I can understand him going on, the interview's going on for a while and him getting perturbed, but the role he plays and the organization he represents, you can't respond like that. You just can't. It's not okay. He needs to revisit that response. It's not becoming of him, actually. There's nothing wrong. I don't think there's tons around to say, who'd he come on for? He come on for Bailey Cadamarteri, actually. But because they took Bailey off and put Cephas on and put him center forward. I mean, the host should know this, actually. Because if you had 2 forwards up there in Bailey and Tyrese Campbell, and Tyrese wasn't changed yet, then it had to be Bailey Cadamarteri, right? Because it wasn't for a midfielder. But I don't think that response befits Rudolph.
Hold on, the Pioneer.
I don't want no reporter ask me a fact question. Go and find out and then ask a proper question.
Pioneer, ask one more and then we'll move on. Mr. Speid, hold on, let me say something to Mr. Speid. Mr. Speid,
need to do no work to you cannot demand people to think.
Mr. Speid,
and then you come here and don't even know a fact.
Hold on, Mr. Speid. There's a reason why you are the coach of the national team and we are reporters. We are not football reporters. Hold on, Mr. Speid. Hold on, Pioneer. Mr. Speid. There is no doubt.
Please don't ask me no more questions right now. If a fact.
Where we can check what the facts are. All right. So, Pioneer, let me hear you ask your last question. Yes.
Second question. Mr. Speid, in light of the fact that you are the man who has had the biggest hand in this debacle of a qualifier that we have had, why should you be rewarded?
I am not rewarded. I do have my job now.
All right, Pioneer. Thank you. Thank you, Pioneer. We'll take the next one. Mr. Speid.
Article this morning, Mr. Speid.
Lord Pioneer.
I think that's inappropriate of the host. The question is a fair one, which I've been asking myself, which I've been saying for quite a bit. Pioneer's question is, your hands have been all over what transpired. And as such, you have aspirations. That's why I didn't call him for any question, because you have to be able to have a chance to position it the way it is that you want to communicate it. And if they're going to cut you off and say, you go ask the question, stop. That's nonsense. That's why I didn't call into the program, because I don't want anybody to control how I position my question, and I have no chance to rebut the answer or to challenge the answer. You can give me any answer you want and you move on because the question is done. Not playing that game. That's why I want Rudolph to come on my channel so I have a chance to rebut some of the comments or the perspective that he provides, or challenge the opinions or whatever they entail, and not be subject to some timeline or some time that says your time is up and you walk away dissatisfied. It doesn't make sense. It's a fair question. Do we reward failure? That's the question. Do we reward failure because the organization failed? And when Italy failed to qualify for the third World Cup, and we failed to qualify for the last 5, 6, whatever it is, longer than that, 7 World Cup, the Italian president asked the president of Italian FA to resign, and he resigned. There is no inclination that anybody in the JFF, even though we have failed to qualify for the best situation to ever for any country get to a World Cup, there is no repercussions, no punishment, no accountability for anybody. And it boggles the mind. If you work for a company and you have certain revenue goals you're supposed to meet, and you're far off, a lot of times you got to go look for a job. But if it's one case where you have a client and you lost a good client because it's your fault you lost a client, not anything else, and he's your biggest client, you got to go. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime client, you have to go. So I don't understand why the host wouldn't be pushing back and says, no, Rudolph Speid, answer the question. The question is, we talked about earlier in the program, you being head cook and bottle washer, chairman of the technical committee, you're on the board, you're not a coach, you're a technical advisor, you're everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. The question to you is, why should Jamaica trust you, because the trust was asked before, to be the man to run the football program when the decisions that were made previously, where you were the key persons in many of those decisions, they didn't work out well? It's a fair question.
And work with Pioneer. I knew that you would do this if you're calling a brother. Work with the rules, man.
Big up yourself.
Yes, no, man.
Big up.
All right. So, Mr. Speid, what was the question? Since you had the major hand in the debacle, why should it be rewarded?
Right. Again, you not even remember my question you asked.
No. I'm repeating the question. Mr. Speid, you don't have to be so defensive, you know. Large the meeting.
Me just like standard. So,
no, I'm just repeating the question that Pioneer asked.
But somebody asked me already, I'm answer. So we have more new questions.
No, I don't think the question was asked quite like that. Mr. Speid, calm down. Do me a beg you. Calm down.
I'm very calm.
The public have some questions.
The question was not answered. The question was answered. It wasn't. The first guy who asked him the question, they trust him. He basically said he's not the coach. Okay, you're not the coach. What does that mean? So you're not going to be involved in the football anymore in the leadership level and the management level. Because that's what you started inferring. When as you go to the interview, it's the opposite.
And I think that if anybody is competent to answer questions when they are coming under pressure, it's you.
I have another one for you. I have another one for you. That's a fact-based question now.
Yeah.
Leon Bailey hasn't played 90 minutes of football for a very long time. The question is being asked, why was he one that played 90 minutes? And then it was clear that in extra time he was struggling tremendously to play.
Right. Again, simple. I had 4 force change. No, me have a problem. But me have to keep 11 people on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But that was why it was difficult for me. And I go back to the other point. You can't have it both ways. Leon Bailey was picked in the squad, although he hasn't played a lot of minutes, because he plays for the number 1 league in the world.
No, well, Bailey scored before you call him. You know, he scored in a game for Aston Villa before you call him, so he's playing.
No, his numbers would have been low too, but just like him and Ethan Pinnock, I tell you all the time, I will shut my eye and pick players who play in the top 5 leagues in the world. Shut my eye and pick them, because even if they're not playing a lot of minutes, there's a reason why they're playing in that league, those leagues, and I know what those clubs do to keep them at the same level like the player who is playing week in, week out.
I think the fact that there were 4 force changes, I don't think many of us who were watching realized that. Well, I think it explains the question of why Leon Bailey.
I suggested that it's like that these players maybe told Speed that they can't continue. You know?
Yeah. All right, which is the other one now? Please don't ask Mr. Speed.
So how do I say this nicely? They let Rudolph get away with that again. Couple of things on that. So Cephas came in for Cadamartry. And later on in the one of the change that wasn't forced, that I know of, Mason Clark came in for Tyrese Campbell. Bailey was on the field. I think Mason Clark came in about the 78 minutes, somewhere around there. Bailey was still on the field. Bailey was the worst player on the field. Or tied with Cadamartry for worst. He was the worst player. He had his turnovers. And someone is saying Bailey's change wasn't about whether he was tired or not. And he was tired. Bailey's change was about his performance and his lack of production. Someone say he was the best offensive player. I think he was one of Congo's best defensive player, given his number of possessions lost. And if you forget, there they are again. He gave Congo the ball 30 times. I think the other highest number was King with 24, and most of those were long balls. I think Tyrese probably gave him 15. I think Pinnock gave him 7. Not Pinnock, Hayden gave him 7. I think Bobby Reed may have double figures, but his numbers are by far worse. Cadamartry is about 11. His numbers were the far worse than anybody else. It's not even close. So the question is, why was he still on the field if he was tired and not playing well? And you took off Tyrese Campbell, who many agreed was playing well, and giving Wan-Bissaka a hard time. Makes no sense.
Fact-based questions. Anything one could have Google for yourself and know we're not answering those questions. Or we're not asking those questions. And please, just ask your 2 questions. No discussions. Who do we have now, Miss B? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yes, who is it? Fuzzy Outer East. What are your 2 questions?
First of all, I want Mr. Speed calm down. No, I'm not here to bash him or argue with him. But one could ask 2 questions. The first question I'm asking, he has been in the program ever since it began, from August until the end of it last week, Tuesday. The first question is that we give me an answer to the second question. The first question is Mr. Speed. Who in the Jamaica squad, the overall squad from that time, who you think, apart from goalkeeper Blake, is the heart and soul of the team?
Well, they put me in a spot. I forgot to tell you, all of the players try them best. I mean, but, and I really think all the players try them best.
Before, so he was looking at the team like us as spectators. Who you see? You don't see nobody as the heart and soul of a Jamaican, with the Jamaican heart, gut, will do anything for the team. That is positive.
Look, I thought that in this camp, all the players give off them best. I mean, the team I was playing against wasn't an easy team. Everybody had said we were going to get 6 or 7. I don't know. We have a lot of money man in quarterback, but the truth is, it's a really difficult team to play against. They don't concede goals, and so it's almost like you can't beat them. This team would have gone past Nigeria. A lot of top teams coming up to this stage. They were in the African Cup in a lot of games. So we had to set up in a way as to fight them on their terms. And I think everybody began and play very as hard as they could. So, no, man. No regret about what the people contribute, man. They try hard and try as long as they could.
All right, your other question.
Yeah. With answering that question, Mr. Speed, right? Why did Damian did not even, when the 4 changes were made, he didn't start, but when the changes were made, you bring on Frey. You bring on Frey, who basically play a wing back for Miami most of his games. And every time he plays for Jamaica, you use him the other day in midfield. And before this game, someone else used him in midfield, and he was not, he didn't contribute. So,
what's the question?
No, good question. It's a good question.
No, what is the question, Mr. Speed?
No, man, I understand the question.
Oh, you understand the question.
On Frey on the pitch. So the reason why I'm bring on Free, I had to get Free on the pitch because Webster was out, right? Webster was cramping up, right? I didn't make the change for Webster till the 90th minute, but he was cramping up. So when I get a chance to bring on Free, Webster was cramping up, King was cramping up, and Lattibody was cramping up. So there was 3 defenders on the pitch cramping up, I had to take off Webster. King and Lattibody we tried as long as we could with them. But remember at that particular point, it's still 0-0, And if 2 of my defenders then go down, I'm going to have a next one on the pitch. That was the reason why. Normally I would never put Free in a central.
Hold on, though, Fuzzy. You have asked your 2 questions. Back online. Hello.
Mr. Speid, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Did I not ask you a question about iron coach and you say it was a board decision? My question to you now, sir. Your elevation as national coach, followed by the perks and salary, was your appointment as elected or as elected decision?
Which one? Which one of my appointment? As coach?
Yes, with the perks and salary. Yes, it was a board decision.
The
it
board,
was selected.
Yes, the board. Yes, the board. Yes, the board.
So, okay. So it's not a selected, it's not by the president.
No, man. No,
because
run like you asked me a question, answer.
Hold on, Mr. P.
Let me answer a question.
Yeah.
Look, all the way you hear the bloggers and those people talk is a policy. Is the board run things, not any one person at the JFF, not no go so. The board have to agree as they can every coach.
So the board members voted to have you as national head coach.
Interim
national head coach.
Yes, and them only give me till yesterday.
How many people make up the board, Mr. Speid?
11.
11, and you recused yourself from that process, obviously, right?
Obviously.
Yes. All right. Because there's a joke going around that you recommended yourself and then voted to accept those recommendations.
Man, Mr. Speid, so you must go Google and inform yourself.
We can't carry on the conversation down there. A good program.
All right.
It's a good program. Any other question for you, Sir P?
No, once you're satisfied with that, it wasn't the president's decision and it's the board. I'm satisfied with that, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Here's my one for you, Mr. Speid. You have said that as of this moment, as of yesterday, you are no longer the coach.
No.
If it was a case that your contract would have, say, gone... Huh?
In a football, enough what if we have to go through,
No, man, here's the question.
What if you're coming with, right?
This is the question. If it's a good question, then I think I ask only good questions, by the way. Here is my question. Do you think that not qualifying the team would have been a resignable sin if your contract had been extended?
And that is why I never put myself in that position. I always insisted that the contract should end at the qualifiers, so the board will be free to do whatever they want to do go forward.
Okay.
Because I'm that type of person. I'm not the one who's going to be trying to hold on to things like that. So that was the case.
That was the case. Here's another.
I don't have to think about that because it's not a thing.
Here's another question that you may think it's a good or you may think it's not great. You may say, why ask you? But there's been calls in some circles from Mike Ricketts' head as the JFF president. Do you have any comments on that?
So Mike Ricketts is one of the most successful presidents ever. 2 Women World Cup, Under 17 World Cup qualification, big strides in coaching education, National Academy. I mean, we have seen what the under 20 is doing. That progression is not rare. What we're doing, we're really in our progress patch. And yes, we didn't qualify for the World Cup, and that's a bad mark. But we do our worry for other things. The Women's Premier League reform, men, all part of the thing that he would have accomplished in this point. So I'm not agreeing with anything that the person does. Because he's one of the most successful presidents ever.
Okay.
So this is where people get off, Rudolph, come from the program, Rudolph. Come from the program. Let's have a conversation, Rudolph. Let's challenge upon that. Yes, went to 2 Women's World Cup. Some say despite the JFF, not because of the JFF. Secondly, you mentioned the under 20 and the 17. The under 20 hasn't gone anywhere. They haven't gone to a World Cup. I don't think they've ever gone to a World Cup. The under 17, yes, they're going to the one here, a very watered down World Cup. Watered down World Cup. It's not like the same under 17 World Cup. This is Ricketts' third term. What happened to the previous terms? these accomplishments, at least the last two you mentioned for the junior teams, they're in 2026. They weren't in 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. I could keep going. So what are we talking about? Not because we have been poor historically in a lot of ways, and he says the most successful. What's the benchmark? And what does success look like? The under 20 got 15 love about 2 years ago. They haven't won anything yet, and they go with the same team to CONCACAF. They ain't going to qualify the World Cup. They need supplement. They need to be enhanced. Yes, the under 17 should be commended, and yes, you should get your flowers when you've done well. But they also need to challenge that record you say, which is so stellar, because the last two you mentioned were this year. And the biggest miss of all, if you're going to put them in a scale of 1 to 10, if you're going to grade them out of 100, and you think about all the games that we have played over the last 10, 15, even 20 years, this one probably is about 50% of all of those, because we had the best chance in the history to make the World Cup. They're not all equal, and yet we failed to do so. So this concept, this idea about the president has done so great, and I like the president. I've said that numerous times. There's context to it. And if you go and decipher the records and review them and assess them, you'd realize we could have done much better than we have done. And we have not, because we have not employed really good strategy. And you could go to this whole thing about, we don't even have a football, we just got a football director. After all these years, is the coaching improving? Yes, but we can't do any worse, because in most countries, coach is improving. That's why a country with 180,000 people can go to the World Cup instead of us, because everybody's investing in football. Apart from maybe say Trinidad.
Far. Not even
two Women's World Cup and the Under 17 World Cup did happen under his watch as well. Me tell the public said this asking him to resign, I think is a joke.
He not even challenge him in any way, shape, or form. He didn't push back. He just accept it and move on. We agree about it, resign. The public can't affect his resignation. And we're not like Italy, where the president may ask them and somebody fall on their sword, because the people in Jamaica are not nationalists, or they're not patriots as well as they say they are. They will not sacrifice themselves for the country. It ain't happening. I don't care what they want to say.
National Academy.
Now we don't ask politicians
before him, we don't have C license coach. Now we have people that pro license.
Well, you know, you're completely wrong about that politician thing, though.
That them don't resign?
No, people don't ask them to.
No, man.
Nobody not ask them.
The opposition always asks them.
The opposition people don't resign. They are in power.
No, that nobody resign. Neither.
If you're a patriot and you espouse the patriot view and the nationalist view and your selfless view for the country, then you resign sometimes, right? Because you realize that you may have failed the country. This concept that nobody resign is maybe a Jamaica concept, whereby, you know what? We're all about the individual, not the collective.
In power opposition, nobody.
No, that's enough to say, but people do ask him to resign all the time.
And Wally part of things are wrong about now.
No, we know, but people do ask him to resign. That's the point.
All right.
It's not in our
name. Not it. Yeah. All right, we have anybody else there? Let's be back on line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, before you answer this one, Mr. P, who was it that asked why, or Fuzzy, why was Damian Lowe not considered? So I'll ask that
right. Sorry to interrupt people. I'm just addressing this comment by Ida Remind, who I've never seen on this forum before, and he seems to be a JFF supporter. Ida Remind, I have a question for you. Ricketts is his last term he can serve, because this is his third term. And based on the Constitution, if they change it, even if you pick up the term in the middle of it, you only can serve 3 terms. So his last, I say in Jamaica, 3 terms, not 3, 3 terms. There'll be nobody to replace him when he's serving term. We're finishing about a couple of years. Really? Is that how it works? So we're going to have no president? Wow.
For him.
Yeah, so as I said before, you see, one of the things, without saying a lot more, one of the things is after we had 3 persons in the backline cramping up, right? Remember? We had 3 persons in the backline cramping up. The thing with Frey is that he's versatile. He can play central midfield, he can play right back, he can play right stopper. He was the one we had to get on the pitch based on what was happening.
All right.
I agree with that one.
Hope Fuzzy understand that. All right, who is this now? Javi, your question.
Yeah. One, Richard King kept playing the long ball out, which wasn't effective. I want to know if you advise him to do so, or did you try to contain him at any time to make a shorter pass and try going forward?
All right.
So when he was cramping up, I can tell you they were not effective because but we couldn't make a change. As I say, we had 4 forced change. But if you look at the construct of the team from in the first game and the second game, you have never seen a Jamaica team outpossess any team of that quality. So clearly, the long ball is a myth to say we are playing too many long balls. We, as a team, we outpossess this team by 6 points. By 6 points. The one before we had, and in the first half we had 56% possession against their 43. So the long ball thing is a myth that we want to create. But if anybody Google it, they would have realized that we had possession over this team, this quality team, and we have never had possession over any quality team like this more than what they have. Tells you that we're not trying to play long ball. So if it does happen to my time, it's just because of what is necessary.
That's bullshit. Sorry. Catch him out. I meant to say that anyway. But Rudolph. Text Nashua, Rudolph. Text Nashua. Rudolph, we are talking about Rudolph. The first ball at the game, pass by the King, kick the ball outside over the left side over Campbell head. What we are talking about? He was 4 of 19 in the game. He mean to play a long ball. We are talking about Rudolph. He mean to get me upset. What the hell are we talking about? People, we are going to the thing. We're not taking no call. What are we talking about, Rudolph? Rudolph, really? He has 4 of 19. And you say we have 50% possession. If he didn't kick with the damn ball, Rudolph, we may have 65% possession or 70%. He turned over the ball 4 of 19, 15 times without pressure. Most of those long balls, there was no pressure. He wasn't cramping up. He was long it up. I pure long it up when I do. But my cramp up, my long up. The ball and get the man, kick the long up the ball at the field and kick it to the opposition. Then kick it to give Cephas or Kadamarti a chance to get it. He might long it up all night. And Rudolph come in the program and get defensive talk about say that wasn't a strategy. It might not be your strategy. The man ask you the question, did you talk to him about it? That's what I can't interview in Rudolph. I mean, I get vexed by you on the program. I get vexed by you. I thought the man, you push back to the man and ask a good question. Why was King kicking the damn ball away? That was the question. And then you're going to have the audacity to say you weren't playing long ball and he was cramping up. He might long it up. Up here, long it up. He might do a kick with the ball with no pressure. He touch the ball 102 times. He probably got to touch it 102 plus 14, 116 times versus whatever number. What was Rudolph talking about? Like we weren't watching the game. And then you have the audacity to be talking about it wasn't a strategy. It was King's strategy. Everybody was getting frustrated with King doing the same crap. And not only was kicking the ball long, he kicked the ball flat. There was no air in the ball to give his forward a chance to run into the ball. We were watching the game. I have the game recorded here. What are we talking about? Instead, you answered the question and said, well, you know what? Maybe because there's a deficiency in the coaching, to say you had breaks. You had hydration breaks, 3 or 4 of them in the game. Somebody should have talked to him and said, King, we're kicking the ball away too much. Or your passes, they're going to go long, need to be better to get to destination. This audacity to be getting upset and talk about everybody say we play a long ball or we now playing on long ball because we have 53% possession. The possession didn't mean a damn thing because we didn't pass offline. And if he kicked the ball in a good place, maybe we'll have a chance to create more opportunities. The questions about we only had 5 shots on goal or we didn't get a chance to score. Those are legitimate questions. They mean you get a chance yourself to win. You did not give yourself the best chance to win. Man, kick with the ball out, give me talk about say everybody say we play a long ball, we have something for the position. Congo just sat back.
The question though is Richard King as a central defender seems to do it more often than
I can't single him out because suppose come under pressure and that's the safest thing. I can't go single him out like that. But I told you the passes were not effective.
Aye, so here's where you should get back Rudolph Speid. You just chastise them for not knowing the facts, right? They don't have the facts. They don't come to you without facts. And you saying you believe you're the damn coach on the sideline. You should know whether or not he's under pressure. You believe he may be under pressure? No. You're not giving anybody allowance for not getting their crap together. So you don't get no allowance. You can't say you believe and you're on the side and watching the game. What do you mean you believe? You are just assistant coach should be checking this and providing guidance to your team to say too much long ball. You can't believe if he's under pressure. You should know if he's under pressure, and he was not under damn pressure. Kick with the people in ball all game.
Some of them, because I know he was cramping up in the end. Because if you look at the first half and in the middle, they were not playing that type of ball. Anyway, we were trying to build through the lines all the time, taking our patience, like building up. So at the end, it happened, and they were not effective. And I agree, but we were not a long ball team. Nobody now try to insinuate that we were trying to play in a long ball.
Your second question, Carla.
Yeah. All right. Next question. All right. I realize that Tyrese Campbell, he had a good game against New Caledonia, you understand? And he played on, I think, the left, and he switched him to the right.
He's on the right,
you understand?
I'll put him on the left.
Yeah. Why was that switch? And then he was why that switch?
And finish the question. Why was that switch? And you were wanting to say something.
Yeah. And then he was doing quite well, and then he was substitute. Was he cramping as well?
Carla, thank you for those two questions.
Yeah, good question. Good question.
Right after the
we're coming.
We have Rudolph Speid at this point, the former national coach, shall we say? But we don't know. When will decision be made, Mr. Speid, as to when do we hire a national coach again?
Don't know.
No, you're not
sure. Mine to make.
Hey, aren't you a part of the board, my boss?
You know, I won't be in that meeting.
Oh, you can't be in that meeting. That means you're eligible to be the coach then.
Yeah, my cricket's beneath there.
That's one way to look at it.
That's one way to look at it. The caller question, he asks why was the switch made and why was he brought off?
Tyrese, right.
Tyrese Campbell, yes.
Tyrese Campbell.
So if you notice in the game, right, you know that's a rapid runner. You usually play on the left hand side, but and you know that Wan-Bissaka is somebody that don't even stay in the right back position for any team that he plays on. This guy was able to pin him down and make sure it's empty because he knows of the pace that he has. But eventually he started to tire. Mason Clark was somebody who defend better. He's a better two-way player. I would thought that we had to bring him on at that particular time because Wan-Bissaka had started to throw caution to the wind and come forward. So that was the reason for making that change.
All right, let's hear what the callers have to say. Go back to the.
I'll touch it by saying it was a wrong change. Bailey should have been taken off. Campbell remain. If you want to put Campbell on the right, he played on the right in the first half. And by the way, Campbell didn't have a great first game against Caledonia. His first half was poor. His second half was very, really good. And as soon as he was playing well, they took him off.
Lines. Remember, it's 676-6968. Hello. Hello. All right. Remember, that's the line that you can call in on. 676.
Yeah, so all these people texting my phone. 676-6968. Yeah, that's the number to call to field your questions.
All right.
Everyone, I'm not taking any calls. I am not taking any calls.
And the program running smooth so far. I think some good questions are being asked. What do you think, Mr. Speid? Some good questions?
Yeah, from the callers.
Not from who?
I'm trying you are.
We go to another one.
I love it.
We go to another one.
Hello.
Not there?
Hello. Oh Lord. Hello. All right. Open the line then. Hello. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Listen, that person clearly don't.
All right. I hope you can answer this one, Mr. Speid. When will the Jamaica national team be next in action? Are they able to get a game with any of the teams that have qualified for the World Cup in May, late May?
I don't think anything is concrete yet. I know there's discussion, but I don't think anything is concrete.
Yeah, because normally the World Cup teams, they want to play teams.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they would want to play against Jamaica, especially after a good showing against DR Congo. A lot of them should be lining up now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Your thoughts on?
You know, I think what should happen. I think I have a solution for us playing some games around the World Cup time. All those teams who fail to qualify for the World Cup, like Trinidad and Italy and some of the teams, they should have their own little World Cup, losers World Cup. They just should.
Bailey's performance. Bailey is one of the most discussed footballer because of his fame as a Jamaican. Your thoughts on his performance overall over the 2 games?
What was significant is the way that he helped to defend. That to me was the most significant part of his game.
Yeah.
Normally, I thought he put in so much effort to help to defend their formation, how they are going to attack us, coming back down on the right flank in numerous occasions. Even in the first game when we were hanging on to the 1-0 lead, I thought it was just admirable. He kept back and put in the work and tried to help the team to go forward.
Yes.
The rest we know is not what he's gonna do with the rest.
Yeah.
He's gonna,
all right. Is that part?
People. Me almost laugh when Rudolph said that. Hey, Rudolph, that's a brilliant answer. So you're supposedly. I asked you a question how a player played. Let me put up what the player played, by the way. When I start putting up. That's how the player played. They asked a question and you said he defended well. You're supposedly best offensive player, and as you would say, with the most pedigree playing the Premier League, with stats like these, and you asked how he played, and you said he defended well. No, he didn't. When you have 30 possession loss, you ain't defending well. You're giving away the ball. It's like somebody running by you, right? Turnovers are for the opposition. That's not defending. You care the ball. Yes, did he play hard? He tried. Did he give effort? He tried. But he was a liability. I'm sorry. So when you come on, people say him defend. If a coach asks you how did Hurricane play today? Hurricane defended well. But I thought Hurricane was just center forward, supposed to be scoring goal. What do you mean he defended well? What did he do offensively? That's the question, It's like somebody said the King. How did King play? And you said, well, King, he took 2 good shots and that was great. But they scored 3 goals. Where was his defense? That don't make no sense, people. Seriously.
We didn't see Cephas in the first game at all, and then he was only brought on as a substitute in the second half of the night. Is his defensive liabilities in wide areas part of the reason why you were reluctant to give him more minutes over the 2 games?
No, well, look, the first game, we had to just win the first game by whatever means necessary. So once we got that 1-0 lead, it wasn't a case that we needed any more goals. People wanted us to go try and score 3 and 4, and that's fine, but I'm sure the result is a win. So what we did was just be conservative, kept going with what we had, trying to get another goal, but not at all costs, because New Caledonia is not as poor as people think. They can score a goal if they get one.
They're no good misses.
Yeah, and I thought because they were together much longer than us, they were coordinated. I've seen them make some plays that was really.
Yeah, they knock up some balls, but they're not special at all.
Yeah. No, the players, the individual. But just remember, there's only 12 players playing the country, and the rest of them are in some lower French league and some other leagues. So it's not that they are total. So if you leave yourself curious, they will score. Remember, you don't reach a playoff by being a total dud. That can't happen.
Yeah,
you must have like a quality.
All right, we'll go to another call.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good
afternoon.
No man, your line bad though.
Hear me better?
A little bit, but what's your question?
Can you hear me better?
No, the line patchy.
Question.
Yeah, just go ahead and ask.
Mr. Speid, communication, the face of the crowd, now there's respect for you, definitely.
You're hearing this, Mr. Speid?
Not so good, but yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Continue.
All right. In reflection on the field campaign, how would you portion responsibility percentage-wise in regards to administration, coaching, and players?
All right. What I think is continue.
Yeah.
No, we're not here.
Yeah, we all got to the first question because we're hardly hearing it, but we heard the first one. But hang up and listen, my boss.
What portion of the blame should go to administration, coaching, and players?
So you portion it.
I don't even know. all I can say, all are we in the same boat, and all are we have to take blame for it. It doesn't matter if you think you individually perform good. It's just, to me, it's a collective responsibility that all of us have to take blame for it. But the other part that a lot of people not looking at, after we should have probably gone through, in the first phase. The second phase was always going to be harder because of the quality of the teams compared to, because remember, we were playing against teams that were lower ranked than us in the first phase.
Yes.
In the second phase, that wasn't the case. We were playing against a team who was higher ranked than us, battle hardened. I think, as a matter of fact, this is their golden generation. They have never had a generation of players as good as the ones that they have now, as far as I know, in their history. So this is their golden generation. And people have to remember, too, that they also have 116 million people to choose from. It's no easy feat to defeat them.
Mr. Speid, from the template has been going back to 98 to bring in English-based players at varying stages of the campaign. That, for the large part, has not worked, especially when they are being brought in at the 9-4. Hasn't worked for us.
But it has worked for Curacao.
Yeah.
And it's a fact. What you're saying, it doesn't work for us, it's a fact. It's true. But it has worked for Curacao. Suriname almost made it too. They were leading until the latter part of the game. That's what they have done. It almost worked for them.
All right. The fact that it has not worked for us since 98.
It worked for France. That's how they win the World Cup. France.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking about in our case. Why hasn't it worked? Going back 20, maybe 6, maybe 7 or 8 different campaigns now. And should we continue with that model?
I don't know if you can single out, say, is English-based players. You're going to see, a better word is to use heritage player, because it's not just
heritage player.
Right.
So, and I'm talking about the tendency to get them in the dying stages. Personally, I don't mind when the players come in and get seasoned, play like a year or two together. But one of the issues I have is it must be difficult to assemble a squad where players are not accustomed to each other and then thrown into World Cup qualifying games.
Yes, it is. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself the question, is the player quality? What is the player quality? Because quality player make life easier,
True.
Because and then you have to ask if the player at a lower level with less experience will be able to do it either. So remember, when we qualified in 98, which people use as a reference point, we were training like, I remember we played like 50-yard match 1 year.
I remember.
Game.
Yeah,
we were
that's
training.
Important. All right, so we're back. We'll go back online. Hello. Not yet.
So the question about whether or not the so-called heritage player model works. A model sometimes won't work if it's not well implemented and it's not effectively managed. And the JFF does not have a very structured recruiting process. It's very haphazard. And even when players decide to commit to Jamaica, the naturalization process takes forever. And in fact, you hear Mason Clark and you hear Andre Brooks talk about that. Andre Brooks said it took him 2 years. That's just Andre Brooks. I've been talking about some players who I thought were going to come in last year before qualification, still ain't got their papers yet. And all of a sudden, Rudolph come involved and players are getting their papers quicker, which is interesting. So it's a more holistic answer need to be provided. But again, these reporters, or this media person in Jamaica, who don't inform themselves, who don't do their due diligence, who don't educate themselves, who don't get involved, but want to be addressing these topics and bring them forth, they are left in a certain situation whereby they can't articulate themselves well to really get to the root cause of some of these things. They don't have the history that informs them about how to discuss these matters. And we're left with answers that don't suffice in a lot of instances. The question about the heritage players or whatever players, and you hear Maverick talk about we need balance. Rudolph is now focused on quality, not balance. Some in Jamaica want balance. Some in Jamaica want no overseas-born players. People. You're annoying me now. I text you and says, I'm not taking any calls, and they keep ringing the phone over and over again. So I'm going to block you if you don't stop doing it. Seriously. Now, it's annoying. Sorry, people, to be rude, but I text the person, I'm not taking any calls, and they keep calling and calling and calling. Not sure what's so hard about that to see. So it doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me when you hear in the Jamaica media over and over and over and over again about heritage players. Right? No, it can't have been important. Non-common important. I have 2 phones, people. I have another phone personal. I wouldn't put my personal number up on the internet. No, it can't be that important. The idea about heritage players and not providing context for the audience, that's just not right. And the problem I have with the questions coming out of Jamaica, as Rudolph indicated, so why does he work for Curacao and Haiti and Suriname and Morocco and Caledonia and even the Congo team we played with 115 to 80 million people had half their team born outside of Congo? Why would a country with 115 million leverage external help for heritage players to help them? Nigeria didn't make the World Cup, but they have a bunch of heritage players also. Most countries, especially developing countries, where they had huge migration of people who were trying to generate resources for them and their family and support their families, will have kids who are born overseas in multiple generations and who have aspirations to play for the motherland. So why should they be denied? I'm tired of beating this thing to death, but these media people in Jamaica are annoying me with those stupid-ass questions about whatever model. And assholes like Roy Simpson, who like to come and talk his crap about it doesn't work, like we forget heritage players, and the JFF allow him to function. I have no idea why the heritage players don't say, you know what, we'll take a break. Why don't we do this, Jamaica? Satisfy the Arville of the world and satisfy the Royston of the world. Let's go ahead and just use locally born players for a while for the whole next year. Heritage players, take a break, give Jamaica a break, because you guys got to fly 10 hours to come here, you get tired sometime, right? And you don't be with your family. Let the locally born players go play. The same ones who go play against Trinidad, the local Trinidad team and can't beat them and struggle to beat them. The same one who barely beat a Martinique, who barely beat a Grenada. The same one them. Because they're only going to beat Caribbean teams. They ain't beating nobody else. The question should be, why is football so underdeveloped in Jamaica? What has JFF done to materially change the direction of travel? Except telling us about the under 17 and under 20 teams. Why is it for all these years since the last World Cup, the football has not evolved better? How many players have we exported, apart from what come from Toxic Boss, the 2, that have gone on to play at the highest level? Where are the Ricardo Fullers and the Peter Sheltons and the Baby Gardners? Where are they? Are we regressing? We can't even get people in MLS, much less in the higher leagues in the world. Is it true that we're talking about? Where's what we're talking about now? Talking about heritage players.
All right, so call now, people, 676-6968. Mr. Speid, it has been attributed to you that you have said that. What did you say about talent and 10% and making and being successful in football? Because I've heard people criticizing you without hearing what your actual statement was.
I will say that talent is common. There's a lot of it all about the place. But for you to get success with that talent, the talent only make up 10%. You have to do whole heap of other things to get success. And there's other things that don't even depend on you any at all. So and that is why I said talent is 10%. Now, people might want to go against what I said, but maybe they don't know the facts. So
what are the 90% things that are as important or more important than talent?
So every talent, as I say, is common. It's almost everywhere. In Jamaica, it's like rice. It's like rice grain.
Yeah, but what a level of talent, though,
but remember,
Mr. Speid,
you have to actually get a coach who can start to nurture the talent from a young age. right? You have to actually start participate in the sports that you want to excel in. Then you even have to have people who can transition you from amateur to professional status. Because you have a lot of players who have talent and can transfer from that amateur setting to a professional. So now they even have transition coaches. So there's a whole heap of things that going into make your talent get success.
Let me tell you what.
Talent is one thing in our play, but it's about success, a different thing. Yeah.
Let me tell you what Jonah Bennett, who is a cricket coach, regularly says to his players. So I kind of half understand what he's saying. He always says, talent is not a passport to success. That's his mantra daily. That to get to the top require more than just talent. That's I hear.
You said you half understand.
Yeah, because I believe talent is the most important ingredient.
Yeah, well, more than 10% for sure.
But so I'll give it a little bit more than 10. But
not a little bit.
I didn't hear what was said, and now that it is explained, I think I understand. But make we go back now, Miss B. Oh, the phone I get trouble.
Yeah, it appears so. It's just ringing.
Why today the phone chose to get trouble? All right, people, try again. 676-6968. See if you can try that number again. I understand that a lot of what the calls dropping, Miss B. Somebody call that line and then text me.
All right, Mr. Speid, let me ask you this. Since you did so well, in terms of how the team looked, and there was definitely a period of play that it looked like Jamaica was Congo, ranked higher than Congo. Do you now fully take the licks for not getting rid of Steve McLaren after the Gold Cup and inserting yourself, or put your hand up and say, listen, give me the work now, Jamaica, let me get this easy job done, this soup.
I cannot fire him.
Could you have recommended for him to be gone?
I cannot fire anybody.
Yeah, man, you can't. But could you have recommended that the JFF release him?
Yes.
So do you think you should have done so now?
I do not want to tell you what I did.
You don't want to tell the nation what you did regarding McLaren?
So, like, Speid answer the question. This is still, you know.
But I don't know what happened to the phones.
But because you're a director now, you can't really say certain things, which is understandable. Because you're a part of the JFF, actually.
Well, I mean...
yeah, but you're a part of the board, so you can't just come down on the board too hard. You know, me understand it. It's understandable. Yeah, you work with them, so it's understandable, definitely.
We're having a problem with the line. 676-6968. What is happening, Miss B? The calls are being dropped? Because I want the listeners who are asking better questions than the hosts to get through it.
Yes.
Yeah, Gavi, we have a problem with Mr. Speid 10%.
I'll tell you what, people. Text through your answers. For those of you who have a text line, text the text line. We ask the answers. We'll ask the questions via text. So text in 8280925. Those who have my personal numbers, text me if the line I get trouble. Here's one that has come through. Ask Speid if he has a pro license, and 2, if he's involved as a candidate for the job, will he get biased treatment by his friends and subordinates? I'm not sure what that means. What's your answer to that, Mr. Speid?
No, I don't have a pro license. I did the first branch of my pro license training. I just wanted to tell you that the same coach that teach at Theta, Thierry Henry, the same coach carrying me through my pro license. I just want to tell all of you that.
Oh, because I heard somebody saying that he's not qualified to. I didn't understand that. So I heard somebody on a radio program saying you weren't qualified to coach a national team.
No, that's not true. I am the most qualified local coach ever to coach a national.
No,
there has never been a local coach who is as qualified that I have.
That's not true. That is not true. Why do I say that's not true? Your qualification, people, is not just about your academic classroom accomplishment. Now, there's a difference between a national team and a local team. He's won with Cavaliers a number of times, the JPL. He has an A license. But Tapa coached a national team for double-digit years. That's international experience. How can you say you're more qualified because you don't have international experience? So can you be the most qualified person to coach a national team? You may say at the inception, before the job was given the requirements, before somebody got there, but Tapa is the most qualified national coach. That's not debatable. I'm sorry. Because you have the classroom and some practical experience, you only have 4 international games to your resume. Tapa has taken the team to semifinal and to final. So you can say most qualified. What's the qualification based on? What's the criteria of qualification? Is the same criteria we have for the national team in terms of players? You can't say the most qualified. Doesn't make any sense. Secondly, somebody asked me the question as to why I didn't call into the program. I mentioned that earlier. I did listen to the program. I didn't call in because it's very restrictive about how you ask questions. You see, Pioneer struggled because people like myself and people like Pioneer, we want to put context around the questions and have a chance to rebut the answer or challenge the answer. And if I'm not given that way, I know I'm going to get frustrated. It's a waste of my time to call in and then be frustrated and walk away not satisfied. So I didn't want to waste my time, so I didn't call in. But I did listen, and I did text one of the hosts to express my consternation about how the program was running.
That I am before I got the job to coach national team. There's never been any.
So based on FIFA and CONCACAF rules, you have the qualification to coach at that level?
Yes, the person line in 2030, you will have to have a pro license to coach.
Or not now?
National level, yes.
Okay, wonderful.
So I am more than qualified.
All right, good. And we understand the line is back up, Miss Marian.
Let's try it. In the meantime, keep the questions coming on the WhatsApp page. All right, do we go back? All right, hello. Hello. Lord of mercy. Hello. All right, that clearly not working. But here's another question that's come through. He says we don't play possession football, nor are we a long ball team. What then is our identity? How do you respond to that, Mr. Speid?
Look, I have coached 4 games. I can't tell you what another coach identity is because they are also responsible to play what they want to play. Yeah. But I can tell you, if you check the stats in all 4 games that I've coached, I have out-possessed every single game. And some by huge margins. Like when you play Grenada, I'm sure I'd do over 68% of the possession. So it's people trying to come with a myth. I don't know where they get it from that I am a long ball coach. When I'm coaching Cavalier, I do what I do to win. I don't care if the ball long or short or sideway or crossway. You guys can't go around that I just win things, right? And again, I was much minutes away from winning, going to penalties, and I would have win it too, because I think Blake was in top form.
Oh, yes.
Just one of those things. A ball that look like it hands, that is what people.
No.
So I want to touch upon that, actually. Rudolph is pushing back on the concept and the idea that he's a long ball coach. Rudolph just started coaching the national team. As he said, he has 4 games under his belt. He's a baby in that space. His entire history of coaching for Cavaliers has been a transition counter-attacking team, which is a long ball team. You're informed by history. History gives you the evidence to justify or challenge or substantiate someone in terms of their characteristics. He's known to be a long ball coach. Dump the ball down the field and somebody run it down. Now, if you say that's what I need to do at Cavaliers to win, you've been at Cavaliers forever. Why haven't you then developed some style of play at Cavaliers? Your style of play has been counter-attacking football and transition football. That's your style of play. What do you mean that you're not a long ball coach and it's a narrative people are generating? No, it's not. Your history tells us that's how you play football on a continuous basis. You've been at Cavaliers forever. You own the club. You could have some program where you bring kids through your program and you teach them how to play football and get the ball on the ground. You haven't done that. That's your history. That's your legacy. That's who you are. That's how you're going to be called out. So if you're pushing back on people saying they're giving this false narrative, no, it's not. That is you. Now, you just mentioned the national team and how you play. Yeah. Is that you, though? Or is that the team and the quality of the opponent? Because sometimes possession is not based on how the coach wants to play. Because every coach to me that I know in football, except maybe Rudolph in some respects, want to have the ball. Okay, if you have the ball, the team can't score. So the 3 games you play were inferior opponents, so you should have better stats. You play a team that's more superior to you, but they also are a transition team, and so they allow you to have the ball versus pressing us. Not rocket science.
As I made mention of that, though, it's not conclusive. But what about the near post? What's your thoughts on that? You thought there was a major error by the guy at the front post to not to hit that ball clear?
2-man go up and miss the header.
No, well, one of them not missed. One of them, the deflection of the first. No, the first defender touched it, you know.
Yeah, barely touch it.
Mm-hmm.
So it threw off the second one.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It just dropped. Remember, we get more corners, but we're not getting a look.
Yeah, it's true. I thought some of the corners weren't great from Bailey, but some were good. You thought the setup inside the box, because some of them was really good at the far post. You think the setup was good enough in the 18-yard box for you during the corners?
What Arsenal don't score out of those set plays, like hours of practice, you know, which we just never have.
It's true.
It's true. We tried, but we just never.
Yeah, you tried, but it was not enough time because.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this. I mentioned this the last time I spoke about this, which is I can't forget when I watched Hogrimson out of practice in Texas, and they work on these things during the practice, even throwing down the opponent's half. That's how they scored the goal against the US. I mentioned this numerous times. So you can work on them. Do you have time to work on everything? No, but I thought the corners, the setup in the box was not good. What Arsenal does is they have 4 people, even Arsenal makes some mistakes. They have 4 people at the far post, and they all come forward, one blocking the keeper sometimes, even before those 4 run forward, and they go to different level. They may keep Gabriel at the penalty box, or they may running from behind. What we didn't have was somebody far at the far post, because a couple of balls went far post, there's nobody there. The balance in the box was not what it should be to give us the best chance to get on the ball.
I was wondering because some of the corners at the back post was really good and nobody was there. I understand.
All right, let's try again.
Supposed to be there. It just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's try the lines again. Hello. Lord of His mercy. Hello. All right, we're not understanding. Here's another one that's been texted through. Mr. Speed said Congo's value tripled ours. Are you saying when a superior team beats a superior team, or I think the person mean when a superior team beats
an inferior
team, the coach of that inferior team should be blameless? How do you respond to that?
No, look, I am never one person to run away from blame. When me lose, me lose. As far as I'm concerned, when your team lose a game, how can you not take the blame? Because I am seeing there was other situations where probably we could have done, to get a better result. You have to take the blame, and I take the blame. I don't know where that comes from. I am taking the blame for the loss because I am the coach.
Yes. There was another one. Well, this is what I'm asking you now.
So I'm asking a question because maybe miss something. Does Rudolph sound like he's taking the blame? For the entire conversation, Rudolph is extolling the virtues of how well they played. And the reason why they lost is a lucky goal, and VAR should overturn it. Where is their accountability and responsibility for, I own this, it's me, and most of the burden should fall on me? We don't see none of that. Rudolph is managing the information. He wants the head coaching job. He has to mitigate the negative feedback concerning what transpired. And as such, and he's done it brilliantly, by the way, he's negated a lot of that in these forums. He's a very smart man. He's answered a number of the questions in a way, some which he should be challenged on. What the host didn't do a good job of challenging him. But come on, Rudolph, you're not taking the full responsibility and accountability for us not making the World Cup. And the one game that we lost is a symptom of a much larger issue as to how we are here and why we're having these challenging, difficult conversations. By the way, people, it's 241 of you who are in the chat. So the likes are 99 less than they should be. And in fact, they're probably much less than 99 because much more than 99, I should say, because people come and go, right? So if you're in the chat, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it.
Feel that you should not, that coming, the minute you got the job as interim head coach, that you should have been focusing all your attention on coaching the national team, and that your attention shouldn't have been split by still coaching Cavaliers. What say you?
So you can look at it both ways. Even the great Sir Alex Ferguson had both jobs, just to make the people know, coaching country and team. And there's a lot of other coaches who have done it. I'm just going to ask you the question, how am I going to practice if I just sit there every day and coach 6 matches a year? Maybe you have a little problem. So that's one theory, and they could be right, but I have another theory.
I mean, I understand that, people. So let's revisit that comment. The question is, you're bifurcating yourself between two masters, your club and the country. Can you really do 2 jobs? Should you be doing 2 jobs? And Rudolph Speid has always been Alex Ferguson. Donkey years ago, when people had multiple roles, did this. Nobody, I don't know, did this other days. And he said a lot of people have done it. I don't know a lot of people have done it. But here's the difference between him and everybody else. Did Alex Ferguson own Hibernian? Did those coaches you're talking about, they may coach a club and a country, and you're basically saying, I need to keep myself active. I need to be managing people and situations, and therefore I got to be managing national team. What about all the other national coaches, the Ancelotti of the world? What are they doing? Are they not traveling, looking at players, talking to players, scouting, talking to recruiting, thinking about what they want to do, thinking about planning for what they're going to do? What do you mean? You're the owner of Cavaliers. You're the coach of Cavaliers, the owner of Cavaliers, the sporting director of Cavaliers. And then you went to the national team. So there is no situation where those conflicts that you're talking about have that same construct and being so similar. None of them own those teams. They don't own the team, coach a team, and then coach a national team. Them things don't work because you know why? The inherent conflict between players from your club and your country going to be a major issue. And therefore, you may penalize your own players from your own club because you don't want to seem to be conflicted. Or you may bring them in when they shouldn't be there because you're conflicted. Either way, that's why people try not to have those situations because they're hard to resolve and perception matters. People, I'll leave soon because I know I hit the like button. I mean, I stop by and I hit the like button because nobody not watch my program. Seriously.
All right. We're trying back the line again. All right. The texters are getting busy now. Does he think
the other point is it was never a full-time job for me. It was always an interim job. So again, you have to take everything into consideration. Not just stuff.
Yeah, but when he gets the full-time job, which he will get, what will happen? Is he still going to own Cavaliers and coach Cavaliers and be the sporting director and coach the national team? How will that work? And where are these lazy journalists in Jamaica challenging this and writing about it? Where are they? Are they going to say, you know what? The conflict doesn't matter. He's going to do the right thing. In today's world, we don't trust. We just verify. We don't trust.
Does he think the JFF should open up the coaching job until after the World Cup, after which there should be open interviews and the best candidate based on salary and qualification is chosen without prejudice and bias?
And that is what happens all the time.
Hello.
Good afternoon, over there. Zidane.
George.
Good afternoon, George.
Good afternoon, Coach.
You're hearing him, Mr. Speid? So now we are here the callers. I would hear Mr. Speid on the same line.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, George.
Good afternoon. I have 2 questions. The first question, if you had gotten the team after the Gold Cup for the first phase of the qualifiers, do you think you would have gotten the job done?
If you know me at all, you know me, I tell you yes.
There you go.
If you had a do-over of the Congo game, because I think we were at a disadvantage with size. They were bigger than us and more physical. Knowing that they were bigger than us and we didn't have Bowser, we didn't have a Whisper, and we didn't have and low on the field with a bit more size. If we were to do over that game, sir, what would you have done differently to win against Congo?
Oh, well, I just think the biggest issue I had to take on this note of the team, he was not available to injury. I think that is the one thing that really...
That's Carroll Anderson.
Yes, messed up everything that we planned before. I can't fault the players for anything else because they carried the game to 110 minutes. Even if you're right, Carl, about what you're going to say, And I know that we made a mistake in the 110 minutes. It's not something that we usually do because we did stress defense and they had like 3 or 4 people in the box. They didn't have a lot in the box, So that was one of the goals that we didn't expect to concede.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
I can't say anything you say would be right or that would make me win the match because I didn't think. I know that Karai Anderson affected me a lot based on I had to change the whole midfield. By the end of by the 91st minute. And I think that those 2 things affect me the most.
All right, George?
All right. You did a great job, sir, to get us, because everybody was saying you'll get 5 lots. So you did a great job, sir. I believe you did the best you could.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you say you did a good job, Mr. Speid.
No, not me alone. Look here, I tell you this. People, before the naysayers were saying, they're not going to play for you. You can't manage them. It's gonna. They said a lot of things. I was gonna pick all the Cavalier players. Is that right? You hear them? Everything that they say didn't happen. None of what they said happened. The players believe it was the best camp. Everybody was one of the best camp we ever had.
Yeah, everybody. I did some investigation, man, and the camp was in high spirit for the team for sure.
So a lot of what people are talking is because they are just repeating stuff that people said.
What happened to you doing, Mr. Speid, as me and Abel said before, if it comes down to just your ability to coach alone, based on what you have achieved with Cavalier, then in terms of locally right now, you are the man for the job.
Yeah.
But because you are part of the administrative aspect of it, that's what somebody
and the technical director.
Yeah.
And then they advise that
they should separate them if they've been reasonable. But you do have some people carrying a certain line and people just repeating what they hear without even listening to, even ask a question or listening to a reason. Right?
Because, Southey like to come at you. And Southey think, did a reasonable job as a coach. He said he wouldn't even criticize you much based on those coaching in the game. I know Southey knock you hard.
Most of the knocks is going to come from your hiring
of McLaren.
Oh, here's one question. We had issues with Hal Grimson because he didn't want to live here. But Mr. McLaren was allowed to be out of Jamaica for long stretches. How do you plead?
Well, that we didn't like that either. We didn't like that about car in a garage.
Where are these reporters from? Are they from Mars? Didn't we go with this like 101 times before? With these questions in different forums? Don't they go to any of the press conferences? They don't have any of the conversation? Did we talk about how Grimson didn't want to be here and he left? And they put it in McLaren's contract and he still didn't want to be here. Didn't we talk about this like 101 times before? That's why Rudolph probably get upset with these people because they keep replaying the same nonsense.
Project is not being driven. It's better than one that drive every day. You're not sure. And that's where the uncertainty come in. So, yes, you saw those players play week in and week out. And that was one of the criteria they made it.
I think I messed up people. Wait, hold up. We go back to the beginning. Damn. What did I do? I got to go find it.
That's bad. A ball. Anyway, we're trying to build through the...
Wait, hold up.
The talent is one thing in our play.
I think I messed up people.
Like when you play Grenada, I'm sure I had over 68% of the possession. So, is people trying to come with a mix?
No,
first question, if you had gotten the team after the Gold Cup for the first phase of the qualifiers, do you think you would have gotten the job done?
If you know me at all,
if you had a do-over
out of the team, he was not available to injury. I think that is the one thing. I know that Karai Anderson affected me a lot. Based on
we went over this already, but let's play from here to go forward.
By the end of by the 91st minute, and I think that those 2 things affect me the most.
All right, George.
All right, you did a great job, sir, to get us because everybody was saying you'll get 5 lots. So you did a great job, sir. I believe you did the best you could.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you say you did a good job, Mr. Speid.
No, not me alone. Look here, I tell you this. People, before the naysayers were saying they're not gonna play for you. You can't manage them. It's gonna. They said a lot of things. I was gonna pick all the Cavalier players. Is that right? You hear them? Everything that they say didn't happen. None of what they said happened. The players believe it was the best camp. Everybody was one of the best camp we ever had.
Yeah, I did some investigation, man, and the camp was in high spirit for the team for sure.
So a lot of what people are talking is because they are just repeating stuff that people said.
What happened to you doing in Mr. Speid, as me and Arvid has said before, you know, if it comes down to just your ability to coach alone, based on what you have achieved with Cavalier, then in terms of locally right now, you are the man for the job.
Yeah,
but because you are part of the administrative aspect of it, that's what some of the
and the technical director.
Yeah.
And then the advisor
but they should separate them if they've been reasonable. But you do have some people carrying a certain line and people just repeating what they hear without even listening to, even ask a question or listening to a reason. Right?
Because, Southie like to come at you. And Southie think, did a reasonable job as a coach. He said he wouldn't even criticize you much based on just coaching in the game. I know Southie knock you hard.
Most of the knocks is going to come from your hiring
of Algrim. Not Algrim, Mr. McLaren.
Oh, here's one question. We had issues with Hal Grimson because he didn't want to live here. But Mr. McLaren was allowed to be out of Jamaica for long stretches. How do you plead?
Well, that we didn't like that either. We didn't like that either. So don't think that anybody was giving any of them license not to live here. We had an issue with both of them. And they all promised that they were going to stay here and live here. And then they reneged.
Why was one pressured? Well, apparently one seemed to be more pressured than the other.
Both of them was pressured. To live here.
Oh, so isn't it something that you could have insisted on in the case of McLaren? Were we as tough on insisting that McLaren stayed here as we were on Hal Grimson?
I think we were tough with both. of them, but eventually both of them decided not to in under no circumstances. Is that enough to fire them? I don't know.
There's a saying that Jamaicans can't play team sports. Give us track and field. Give us boxing and them something. That we will never be a world factor in any team sport. What's your take on that?
I don't think so, any at all. That's not true. The problem that we had before was that we did not have the requisite coach to nurture the talent to bring it to a certain level before, because the best we had was like a C license coach. A C license coach is for grassroots, right? And corner league and business house and church league. That's the coaches that we used to have coaching national teams and coaching elite youth and coaching Premier League and Women's Premier League and Tier 2 Super League. That's the type of coach we had before coaching those players. So that to me was our biggest problem. I still have players come from the old school tell me, say, I am not running back. And I say, what you mean by you're not running back to defend them? Say, but my coach, I'm not to run back. My coach must stay up and score goals. So just even basic things like those. So once the coaching start improve, that is why you see an under 17 team coach by a local coach, Mr. Donzel, who got his A license last year, is able to match up against a Canadian team with a top coach and out coaching and beat him. Because now you don't have no tricks or we don't know. We know too. That is why the under 20 team was so devastating. You have never seen an under 20 team play like that in a Jamaica history. That's a player that come to a coaching school too. That's a difference. That is why we were able to stand up to DR Congo with a local coach, because no, you don't know, we don't know. You might know a little bit more, but we know what to do for counter.
Rudolph, you can't have it both ways, You can't complain about you don't have time for work on set piece, because you don't have time. But you take all the credit because you perform okay against DR Congo. So you were brilliant in getting the team to play well against DR Congo. What did you do that was so brilliant, but you couldn't get set pieces right? I mean, I understand. If you had a short window, no time before the first game, about 4 days before the second game, and you can train for some days, then what was it so brilliant that you did in such a short period that resonated with the team to do so, quote unquote, well against DR Congo, but you couldn't get set pieces right? I don't understand. So I think Rudolph minimize the deficiencies, emphasize and overemphasize the positives. There is no balance. I thought we wanted balance in all of this thing. Aren't we all about balance?
No matter how you're good. And that's the most significant thing in a Jamaican football, because coaching education step up.
If Rudolph Speid is interviewed for the job and gets the job in a few weeks or a few months, whenever that process is, we understand that you would take the job. That I've seen it in the papers this morning that you are open to that idea. Are you open to having the same support staff, or is that something that
the support staff was magnificent? I mean, I can't single him out. Coley was, with his experience, was good. Michael Donaldson, he's really good, and he has that experience from the professional life. Spirit is someone else have a way of knowledge. He's just very knowledgeable about football. I mean, ask Spirit anything. I want an opinion, him understand the game. And then with Kyle Chin. So one of the things that I think we should all be happy about is that we just use pure Jamaicans, you know, on the technical staff for this one. I mean, it's a good look for us to be able to compete at that level using, you know, our local people. Everybody was local. Dr. Feed, every single person, Lamar Morgan, all of those people was on top of the game. And there was no drop in quality.
Rudolph, we didn't win. People, let me just say this. I did congratulate Rudolph. They didn't embarrass us. I did say I'm proud of how they played because they didn't lose. But let's only when you win you talk like this, people. I'm sorry. You have to let the plaudits come to you if the plaudits are so deserved. We didn't win. We didn't make the World Cup. I have no problem with organizations and countries using people who are local, so long as they're qualified. Are they qualified? And this concept that only local coaches should be coached for these national teams, and then say, I have the best qualification, that means then you by default going to be the coach. And the question is, Rudolph, did you set this up? Did you set it up to just have local coaches, knowing by qualifications and criteria, since you don't rate Whitmore as a coach, or because you won't bring him in again, because you're saying you're the most highly qualified, do you set up in a way in which you then become by default the national coach? And then they have no choice. And then you can say, I played 4 games, I won 3, and the one I shouldn't have won, I didn't win, but I performed really well. And most people say I performed well, and therefore, by default, I have to be the national coach because we go in local. We go in local first with the coaches. I assume we're going to go local next with the players because we just gone local with the coaches. We're not going for the best qualified candidate. We go in local, which is a very small pool. When Rudolph say, I'm the best qualified person in Jamaica for coaching, what's the competition? What is the competition? That's the question you're going to ask yourself, What's the competition for the role if you're going to go local? Do you have the vote? This is not Spain, which have the most coaches per capita, pro-like coaches in the world, across all the various coaching licenses level. Spain by far outstripped every country in the world. So like you're in Spain, yet Spain went for somebody who coached their junior team to coach the national team because they have confidence in those coaches and they have competition and they know what the quality looks like. Do we even have that perspective? Do we know what quality looks like from a coaching standpoint to then say the best coach on the island who has never won a game against a CONCACAF team when they lead the Caribbean should be the national coach? Really? If that's the way we're going, that's the way we're going. But, these questions need to be asked. And unfortunately, the host or the hostesses, or what you want to call them, they ain't pushing them questions.
From what I used to observe, as a matter of fact, it probably, before with other coaches here, there's no drop in quality in terms of the preparation or anything. So I think it's probably a hint, So I don't believe that we can't play as a team. I just think we have to point in a direction. So again, now a Jamaican team in all our games would have played possession, tried to play like a real team or a real team look. Yeah. I think we were able to achieve that. So all of these animosity and talk of all of these things, I don't know where they're coming from. They're not genuine, and that's where I am.
Okay. All right, let's try again, Miss B.
I'm sorry, Rudolph. Come on, Rudolph. Give me a headache. There's no narrative. These are things which we've been going over and over in different iterations. Come on. We failed to make the World Cup in the soup zone. And you were the orchestrator of that failure. You were. I hate to say it, but you were. If you get a national team coach and I support Jamaica, I'm going to support you in the national team. I have no choice because I ain't going to abandon my team. But let's not change the narrative. You own the failure. And now when people fail like this, Rudolph, they resign. They normally do. But you'll be rewarded.
The line definitely a public bubble. Well, I tell you. Why not work with the under 17 and under 20 for 2030? No new ballers, please. What say you to that? Whether you are the coach or not, is that a suggestion that you prefer?
I don't. So there's levels for football.
By the way, people, let me just say this, because some of you are going to like me saying this. The under 17 team and the under 20 team, which I get all them boots up in my get, and some of the flowers are deserved, them can't keep the ball either. When them play against Canada in the last game when they get to the World Cup, they did make 3 passes in the whole second half consecutively. And we're talking as if they walk on water. And because they're junior, nobody can say nothing. And then you're knocking the kids. We'll see where it goes from here. Let's see if the under 20 don't get any new recruits. You know what? I don't want to get no new recruits. I know some new recruits must be coming in. No, not come in. But not when they go play again. Let's see how it work out. Because then when we lose, you're nothing from nobody. But when we win, then can't come off a TV, can't come off a radio, can't come off a YouTube.
Levels to football. You can't tell me, say, if and this is some of the reason why we missed out. I mean, the better the football is, the easier your chances. I mean, the conversion rate for players who play World Cup for under 17 and they play under 20 to the senior team, it's low. It's not. It's like, I can't remember the percentage now, but I'm sure it's less than 30%. So I don't know where people think that you can take on a 17 team and carry them all the way through to play for the senior team. That can't. It never happened before and it can't.
All right, let's try again, Miss B. Hello. Yes. Yeah, I hear you, but your background now is not bossy.
Yeah, I want to play. Let me pick up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, hear me now?
Yeah, is who this again? Oh, Chuck. Yes. What's your question, Chuck? Chuck, what's your question?
All right,
Yes, sir.
in order for us to qualify, this one done and gone, we will have to look at 2030. We need a coach, but we also need the JFS to be in a financial position that we can have our money where we can, as you always said, we can't play no good coach. But we want to be in a coach when they look above McLaren and maybe Alvin. How can the JFS, is there a plan that the JFS can get some money in the kitty that when you go look a man, we get a man that not just assist the national team, but the other 8 group teams coming right down to 2030.
So football is expensive. Football is an expensive sport. Of course, we have 11 national teams. Only one earn money. None of the rest don't earn the money, So, I mean, and I mean, even the other last couple years ago, Canada declared bankruptcy, the FA, That's Canada, So, I mean, I asked the senior team player to travel the economy. No, I'm just saying.
Chuck. Question.
This is the last point.
No, we don't want to make points, man. It's question, man.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to involve us, the fans, to help?
Okay. Sir,
Look, one of the ways fans can help is when we have a match at the stadium and we have play against anybody, after just full up the stadium and we could make some money. So I don't know if you're talking about like the fans handout, that's not going to happen. We prefer talk. But one of the basic things could be just full up the stadium when we are playing and support the team like where other countries do, Even when the under 20s playing and those other teams, the women team. Now we have a 2-women game coming up now. Who is going to go? Tell me. We're not going to support it. We're just going to talk. So these are some of the issues that we have as a Jamaican because the people just don't support us. And when Messi was coming, they all come. I mean, right?
Yeah.
When we were at the verge of qualifying the full team, those are the 2 biggest events we have ever had. Can we have that every match?
Right.
We are afraid to keep matching in Jamaica because we're going to lose our shirt, We lose our shirt if we keep our match in Jamaica.
That was the interview, people. I think I cut it off because there's much more that wasn't said. I cut out the part where he talked about telling him goodbye. So at the end of the day, that was the interview. You heard it. You heard everything that Rudolph said. Apparently, Rudolph is in contention to be the national coach. And apparently, based on his perspective of being the most qualified personnel, having a 75% winning record because he's won 3 or 4 games and lost against a better team. So therefore, the loss should even count against his record. The fact that his team kept possession, the fact that he had one of the best camps ever for the team. So he has a number of factors that he can state, which put him in good standing to assume the role, especially since, this is the kicker, Jamaica is going local with all his coaches. Now, it's local because the coaches believe that they have achieved something in terms of just getting the academic qualification, and he's working on his pro license. What's their experience that they have had outside of Jamaica to inform us that they should be ready for these roles? How many of these coaches have won anything outside Jamaica? Anything outside Jamaica? Well, I shouldn't say. I say outside the Caribbean, not Jamaica, because they're going to point to the Caribbean. And I've always said the Caribbean is not the competition. It's just not. We dominate in the Caribbean, at least in the English-speaking Caribbean, for the longest. But when we go outside the Caribbean in CONCACAF to play against Latin America and non-American teams, it doesn't show up. What did Mount Pleasant do the other day against Los Angeles, a middle of the pack MLS team? What did Cavaliers do against Cincinnati and Inter Miami? We haven't scored a goal as a country in any of those club competition. Just imagine this. We haven't scored a goal. And it looked like scoring in one game played in Miami against Inter Miami previously, a very old team. So when we have these conversations, we talk about these things, we talk about experience and qualification, I'm not sure how we even judge this resume. And if you just go local, and there's a lot of countries don't have local coaches, right? Haiti doesn't have a local coach. Curacao doesn't have a local coach. The US doesn't have a local coach. Canada doesn't have a local coach. The teams that qualify for the World Cup from the playoff, Congo doesn't have a local coach. Iraq doesn't have a local coach. What are we talking about? I don't have anything against local coaches, but do they give you the best chance to win? And you have to consider all factors: experience, culture, money, but most importantly, their record, their winning record, and their ability to develop players. Because Rudolph needs to point to, this is what we're missing in this discussion. Point to the players that he has developed that's elevated to a very high level. Who are the players he has developed that are playing at a very high level? Because the judge of a coach, if you want to judge Arteta, for example, you can see the evolution of his players and their ability, even though they're pros, and some of them are seasoned pros. Where are the players that Rudolph has developed that you can point to, and the trajectory is going to get them to, say, the Premier League or League One or whatever it is? Where are those players? That's the mark of what a very good coach. A coach can coach youngsters. And if you say you just coach adults, who should be where they're supposed to be, then where are those players which he has evolved their game to the point where we can say, you know what? Yeah, I can see that person in a certain role in certain leagues. And last but not least, I've said this about Jamaican coaches, and unseen is in the thing. Unseen, you and I was coaching in Jamaica. Where are the midfielders? Where are the midfielders? Here's my philosophy. If you can't coach and develop good midfielders, you can't coach. Sound extreme. If you can't coach and develop midfielders, you can't coach. And can't coach sounds a bit raw and sounds extreme, but that's my philosophy. Because it's the most difficult role to me in the football field. You play up front, you can fast, have some skill, you're good. Defender, you're rugged, cover the space really well. Midfield, a footballer, I said this the other day, makes about 3,000 decisions in a game. And midfield, if you think about it, gonna make more than the average player. That means you have to teach people how to think, how to consider different scenarios and situations, and how to make the right decision in each of those instances. So I don't see the midfielder. How many midfielders were on the field or had a chance to play when Jamaica played against Caledonia or against DR Congo who were locally born? Name them. How many midfielders in the team were locally born? Is Bobby Reed locally born? Is Palmer locally born? Is Kira locally born? Is Hayden locally born? Where are they? Where are those midfielders? Are we a bunch of wingers? Campbell is a winger from Jamaica. Cephas is a winger. Bailey is a winger. Hello. Where are the midfielders? We have defenders. Damian Lowe, King, Webster. Where are the midfielders? Which is where you see your true mark as a coach. Tell me who the midfielders are. Okay, if you can't coach midfielders, you can't coach. That's me. Extreme, that's me. And we don't develop no midfielders. And it shows you that our coaching ability, that we're extolling the virtues of, that we're saying is so great, has not matured to do what it needs to do. And even when I look at the under 20 and the under 17, it's the same thing. I don't see the qualified midfielders who can dictate play, who can run the team, who can help us retain possession. Because possession, most of the game is played in the middle of the park, and that's where you need to retain possession. That's where you need to direct traffic. Doesn't happen. So when we have these conversations and we extol the virtues of how far we have come and what we have done, and then you look and see the car crash behind you because we can't get to the World Cup, and you look at the under 17, under 20 team, and they can't make 3 passes together, but they bully teams, and when they get to 19, 20, they can't do it anymore because you know what? You can't bully people anymore. Then we struggle. So the matriculation from the junior team to the senior team won't occur the way it's supposed to because we haven't taught them the technical aspect and the mental aspect of the game to allow them it to be sustainable and for them to produce at a high level. That is not difficult to see. It's a fact. Yeah, that's probably the case too. Well, I mean, in your midfield, you have to think, right? And that's why Spain is so good at football because they produce midfielders like is coming out. And that's why, and they have the most pro coaches, by the way, by far. And they produce the most midfielders by far at a world-class level or close to world-class level. I'm going to close the program down, people. But I'll say a couple of things before I go because I've been on more than 2 hours. I think I came on 8:20, so I've been on over 2 hours. And I appreciate each of you being here. We're in an interesting place as a country when it comes to football. Let me drink some water first because my little soliloquy, people. Jamaica is a very immature footballing country. The one thing that I pointed to when I saw the game coming up, a game to go to the World Cup, a game to come to the World Cup. The game in Jamaica was not on free TV. I find that amazing. I find that reprehensible. For all the people in Jamaica to run off their mouth and talk about diaspora player and this player and that player. For the game not to be on, when a game going to the World Cup, a friend of mine just came back from, well, she's not a friend, somebody close to me just came back from Colombia. They were telling me down there that people eat, drink, sleep, football. Everywhere you go, there are people with football jersey, football memorabilia. It's just football, 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 football. I'm like, that's not Jamaica. We're not even that way with track and field, much less. We're like them bandwagonists. The fact that the game wasn't on national TV and free TV is unbelievable. Seriously. Just think about it. Unbelievable. You can't even fathom that. And if we talk about football like it's in our DNA, it's not. It's not. And as I've said yesterday when I talked about this, the biggest issue with Jamaica and its football and the root cause of our problem is the electoral process. It's not a fair process. It's not an objective process. It's not a process going to give you the best people to run the JFF. And it cascades from there. So the same people doing the same thing, the same rules. All right, I'm going to take one call, people, but after this, and I don't lose this, we're done. Good night. We not talk long, people. Who's this?
Hello, Mr. Kranky.
Fisherman, we not talk long. 5 minutes and we're done. I shouldn't take any
call. Good night.
Good night. You have 5 minutes, Fisherman. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, this thing here, I listen about actually you said the football nation thing and football country.
Okay.
That is my thing when I always tell people, you know, because people have this notion like we're a football country. We're not a footballing country, sir.
No,
we're not a football country. We're a wagonist country when it comes on to football.
Yep.
We are a wagonist people. And it even, another in Jamaica alone. The Jamaican never migrate to go overseas. So there's a wagonist. They're man enough footballing.
That is true. In fact, they may be worse, actually. They may be worse.
Footballing people. We have this thing where we make it sound like we're this footballing nation, and when we don't qualify, it's like we fit burn down the place. Because we are not a footballing nation, we're a wagonist nation. When Simoes come here and when we start qualifier, no people never used to come out until when they on the verge of qualifier, so people come pack up in a stadium and some of them are faint and a drop down and all of them things there. Because they never used to it. They never come out.
Fisherman, they thought they were in church.
Yes. And you want to see people if you have fun them and throw water upon them.
A church and
all those things. Because they never used to it. They never used to come out when we out there in the sun. The real football soldier, them few were there and go out there. So them come pack up and them drop down. And then now every year now people want to qualify like with this footballing nation. We are not enough footballing nation. And get it in the people if you get it in them head. We are not enough footballing nation. As far as me concerned too, I think we punches above our weight.
Because not this time around. Not this time around. Normally, yes, especially when we went to the Nations League, but not this time around. Yeah.
I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about
especially in track and field. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I'm talking about football.
Okay.
So track and field. Football, I'm talking about. I think we're punching above our weight. Because if you check the footballing nation them in our space in the CONCACAF region, when you check El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, those places are crazy footballing people. And how much World Cup most of those teams qualify for? How much in the Gold Cup what we have in our region? How much team win it? Otherwise from Mexico, United States, and Canada win it mostly one time. How much of this nation win it? And we talking about like we supposed to every time them thing they play, we supposed to either go a final or win it. Like with this big footballing nation. With no footballing nation. Bigger nation more than we. We support football more than we, not winning nothing, not even going to final. Most of them Central American team, they don't go to no final in the Gold Cup. We go to 2 final. Go to almost semi-final.
Hey, Fisherman, you know what's funny from what you're saying? So I remember going to a game. It may have been myself, Minzy, and Omar went to a game at Giant Stadium when Jamaica was playing. They were playing Guatemala in a friendly. And let's say the stadium was sold out. Let's say there was 60,000. You find it hard to find 1,000 Jamaican in the stadium. It's all Guatemala. And wait, no. We have as much Jamaican in this region as that nation.
So we get him very emotional when World Cup time come around, and we want to burn on the place because we're this great footballing nation, and we should have qualified for almost every World Cup. Look, Japan. We and Japan go to World Cup the same time, and
Japan beat England now.
And what is the name? Croatia. And Croatia is coming from a footballing nation where they break off and form them own thing. We make it seems like we this big footballing nation, so every time World Cup come around, we must qualify. Cut out no foolishness.
No, I mean, you make sense in a lot of it is truly a fact what you're saying in terms of we don't operate that way. We jump on the bandwagon when things are hot, and we jump off as soon as things start get chilly. And we now come back on until they get hot again, if it ever get hot. It's a fact.
People, first thing, government not support when it come on to football, most sport in general in Jamaica. The government don't put emphasis on that. They put liquid money in there here and there. But it's not something that, if them gonna put money in most things where them think is priority.
So Fisherman, when Hogramson came, he was shocked to see how well maintained and manicured the golf courses were and how horrible the soccer fields were. That's one of the things he brought. That's what he talked about. He didn't understand the disparity between the two.
Yeah, because what happened, those golf courses owned by either hotel or some big shot people. Yeah. We're not really business born of football. Them have it for them and them friend go and play them thing.
Yep.
So people have this misconcept notion about with this footballing nation and talking about we should be doing better in football. Yes, we want to do better. I would like to win World Cup. I would like to win the Gold Cup. I would like to qualify for every tournament and win them. But we must realize Jamaica is not no footballing nation. We is not.
So Fisherman, I have a question for you.
Check.
I have a question for you. Do you think we're better off without the heritage players?
Huh?
You think we're better off going local versus going? Yeah.
All right, here is my point with the heritage there. We qualify for World Cup from 98,
yeah. 97, 98.
Yeah, 97, 98. And then the influx of players them start to come in.
Well, it wasn't really after that as much, but yeah, we have more, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah,
it wasn't not until later that the influx gets signaled.
It gradually growing more and more and more.
Yes.
Till we have team now where we pick it. We have on the field have 9 overseas born player and 2 local player.
Actually, you probably should have 10, but we observe 1 or 2 spots for local.
Yeah, man. You would mind have 20, 26 or 27 overseas. People swim go. Fisherman, you and I know. If we do those things, the team supposed to improve it. The team is not improving. Not. When we have most local player playing on the team, we did rank all 50 and come down to all 40 we did rank
when was this? When was this?
To 40
When was this?
When was this?
Yeah. This great period of local players?
With most local based players.
I thought you said we had an influx from way back when to now. So how could we have local players when we had an influx?
Gradually.
But when did we have this great ranking? Let me know the great ranking. They give me the great ranking. Give me a great ranking period. Because I'm confused, people. I'm confused. We can't have a steady influx since 98, and then we're saying the team was mainly local, and that's why we were ranked high.
Do you know in 98 we come in our World Cup time when we come down to our 30, we was 30 something in the world one at the time.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I have a question about that. What was our record in the first 5 games in the qualification in 98, 96, 97? What was our record in the first? Of course you won't remember.
Well,
how much points did we have at the first 5 games? How much points did we have? At a possible 15, how many we had? Before the 4 Englishmen come in, how much points do we have?
Look here.
I'm gonna do like Rudolph Speid. I'm gonna go look that up. Go look that up. Go look it up.
15, Mr. Simo is it last night. We play. I think it's 15 game we play, and the 3 player that come play in 5 games. 5 games them play now.
Yes, and you asked them a question.
5.
What were the points we have in the first 5 games? That you don't know your history, so we can't have a conversation.
But it never
before the Englishman come in.
It wasn't straight. It was not straight.
I understand, but I'm just asking you a question. With just local players, people. Here's the point. The question: with just local players, how many points did we have in the first 5 games that are possible? What was it 15? How many points did we have?
Mr. Kranky.
Answer the question of Fisherman. Now you're a historian.
I think it's 3 rounds we play.
Mm-hmm. And the first 5 games, how much points did we have?
It don't really matter how much points we qualify and come to the last round. We qualify, come to the final round to qualify for the World Cup. So what's your point?
I said before the Englishmen came in, how many points did we have in the first 5 games?
You say how much points we have in the first round.
Before the Englishmen come in, how much points we have?
They come in the last round. Okay. I don't remember how much points we did have before them come.
Right.
You tell me how much
points.
No,
I'm not gonna tell you. I do like Rudolph.
So why you not tell me that?
No.
All I know, they come in the final round. When 5 games leave, them come. And them help us to qualify. And I didn't have a problem with them when them come. When them come, I go to the stadium in a training, sit down there and watching them,
Okay.
I didn't have a problem with them.
I don't understand why people, when someone is a citizen of your country, that means they have all rights and privileges afforded those who are born in the country. You was to try to take away birthright citizenship now? That is Supreme Court. When someone is a citizen of your country, there should be no preferential treatment for anyone. So this bullshit about balance, you balance quality. It's all about quality. Wait, there's nonsense about balance. It's nonsense. It's inappropriate, frankly, to talk about that. It's inappropriate. It's not okay. There's no such thing. If it was mainly locally born players, we would talk about damn balance. We wouldn't say, we gotta have enough overseas born players in the team to balance it out. We would never say that. Never.
But
Ever.
that's why Kranky. What I'm saying, when we get in this influx and the team not improving, them going back way, what you expect people must say?
No, what you would say is that what the hell are you doing in Jamaica in the football where you can't produce better footballers? That's what you should say. Why JFF? Why we can't produce better footballers?
No, but the thing is, Kranky, you don't want to get a chance to them produce no baller.
What do you mean?
You know, really interested with no farmer development, you know. I don't want when football time come, send for someone overseas and come play them. That is no man trying.
Wait. Nobody's stopping Jamaica from developing footballers. Nobody.
But the moment, even if a baller, we see any potential in no baller, and the coach call him in at the team, you come out and say, see, a quarter of them have why them call a JPL baller in the team.
You know, fisherman. You know, 2 years ago, we had 14 overseas ballers. When I met 20, we took none. And they got 15 love, fisherman.
That's
15 love.
Look here.
15 love, fisherman. 15 love, fisherman. 15 embarrass me. Them embarrass all of me. You know what the JV do? Go hide.
You know, embarrass you. Okay. As me say, overseas people want to see every team in a Jamaica full up with.
And you want to see mediocrity.
That is what you want to do.
And you want to see mediocrity. You want to give a man a blind. We're not good enough.
Man, I mean, agree with any what Speed say. No youth team. Me no want to see no youth team full up and no be an English man or anywhere where them want to come from. Full them up and be English. Where we football logo?
I agree with you. I don't think they should play for Jamaica. I don't think any of them should play for Jamaica. I don't think any of them should play. No. Back up. You can't have it both ways. Because you guys are talking shit. You're talking crap.
Well,
nonsense. Nonsense. You're talking nonsense. It's nonsense.
Me no want to see no.
People. Let me say this, people.
Under 15 team full up a be English. Youth today.
No. They are Jamaicans. No English person can't play for Jamaica. No Englishman can't play for Jamaica. No Englishman can't play for Jamaica. If you're English citizen alone, you can't play for Jamaica. There's nonsense.
English-born kids.
Oh, the English-born. Oh.
So what you must do?
Why you tell the English? Why you tell the Indian-born or the Syrian-born person who depend on the wall for sell of the story? Wait. Point. When you go ban them. Them are Jamaican. Where you go ban them from having too many stores, or having too many restaurants, or having too many supermarkets? Where you go ban them?
Why you tell the liquid 50?
So where you tell the people who can't get on business? Where you tell the people who not on business and not on business in Jamaica?
Tell them, say, look here, you don't good enough. The English you them better than you, so we all use them. Well, that we must tell the liquid you them want to play. Tell them that them don't good enough.
So what should tell the English? What the English born youth them? So them good enough, but them not good enough. Them want to play for Jamaica, but them too good to play for Jamaica. Because Jamaica don't want them. So we should tell them.
The thing is, Kranky, you don't want to see no local youth in the team. You don't want to. And I say, what you don't want to do? Every time them pick any local, you don't say a quarter. That means they must speak be English. That is
fisherman. There's a quota. Fisherman. There's a quota in place for the junior teams, you know, fisherman. The last under 20 going about one English born player went to the under 20 now.
If we have a quota, because if no quota is not there, you want the team Kranky, that is your thing. You want to see the team full of up.
All right, so fisherman. Does Kranky pick Jamaica football team? Or does the JFF respond for it?
I want to come up here and spilling the thing over and over and over. And each time if them pick a team, and them have 3 or 4 local pan it, who no say a quarter. Because none of it in there.
Yeah, look, I think what the JFF should do, and I agree with you guys, should have only locally born players in all your teams.
Nobody now saying if you have no be a local.
They should do that because you got nobody puts no. Don't send up it. Don't send on local. If they're good enough, then they play. Okay, how many people have knocked out against? Fisherman. How many people have knocked out against Blake being in the team? How many people have knocked out against Blake being in the team?
Look here.
Now answer the question now. Don't punt. Answer the question. Huh?
If you love up to someone in a YouTube space, nothing Blake couldn't in a team either.
Oh Jesus.
Come in there, a YouTuber say Blake not in the team from a long time.
And me a JFF official say don't have no English baller in a team. Me the official from the JFF I said they don't want an Englishman in the team. Basically, that's what he's basically saying. You don't want an Englishman if you move away.
You know, say you can't help yourself. You cannot help yourself when you come on to this local and overseas. You talk people, you're telling people, say, we out here. But you, every time we come and talk, sometimes we not talk, not about that, and you're gone in that region. Because you can't help yourself with it. You cannot help yourself when you come on to it because you just have it in your head, say, me remember when...
Fisherman, he just came with an interview, Fisherman. He came with an interview, I didn't bring it up, it came up in an interview, right? It came with an interview. The question was asked by the host of Speed. That's why it came up, Richard man. What are you talking about me?
Well,
it came up in the interview. It was in the interview.
Coaches.
No.
Coaches,
No. Fisherman, stop lie. Don't lie. You piss me off. Don't lie.
Right.
The man said the local versus overseas hasn't been working, and Speed said yes, it hasn't worked, and then he elaborate about what are you talking about, Fisherman?
English interview. This
interview, yes.
With Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly interview.
Yes. The CM interview. Yes. Ask the audience.
When Speed.
You come like the host them. You come like the host them. Now listen. You come like the host them. Now do no homework. You are like the host.
All local. What he was saying, he not said is all local coach, and he called him out. Him said him Coley, the next coach.
We weren't talking about coach. We're talking about players. We're talking about players. We're talking about the strategy about why the team is successful. We're not talking about coach. Why are you going off a different tangent now? Stay on track.
Well, I'm gonna listen back that interview. If I hear. You have the interview in.
Yeah, but I gotta go search through it. It's not easy to find. I gotta go search through it. You know what? I'll probably do.
Listen it back. Because I listened to the show yesterday, and my recollection, I never hear him talk about local and overseas players. I never hear him.
Okay. Let's bet some money. Let's bet some money. $1,000. $1,000 bet. US dollar bet. $1,000.
So what you do? Play it back and make me hear.
Stop. No. You need to be some pain. You need to pay some pain. Let's say $1,000 US bet, and it public domain. You go up on tangent. You say go up on tangent. See what him do, people? This is what him do, people. That's what him do, people. He's a perfect person that them do. Pick like him and Anthony in chat. That's what they do.
Give the coaches them leeway and make them pick them team and stop when the people them pick them.
That's why Haggins left.
No,
that's why Haggins left. Can I try to force Haggins people who say no want them team? That's why Haggins left. That's why Haggins left. And I give people a false narrative. Him left because he not get the support, including people that interfere.
Algrisman left here because he didn't want to stay here.
You don't know.
And then Uno, when him lose, Uno see him one on the internet, say him no good. Him no have no philosophy.
Oh God, you're boring me.
Uno help force out Al Grimson.
Yeah. You're boring me.
Help force him out.
You are a typical Jamaican. You know, the true persons come forward, people, all the time. You just got to push them hard enough, push the button, and you can get them to get them. You get who they are.
Talk to you. All the time I talk to you. You see things going wrong, come step up and play a part and change.
And that's your fault. That's in fallback, people. That's in fallback.
That is why.
No one on diaspora people in the business. As a friend of mine might say, no one no diaspora. No diaspora people in the circle. No one. I don't want that with money. No one. Not about that. Nothing.
All the excuse.
You don't want our kids. You don't want our kids. You don't want anything from us. No. We're not giving money.
Tell you things. People this. People that. Oh no!
All right. They call it. Okay, we get 5 minutes. Me have to leave. But Mr. This fisherman.
We don't need. We don't want people to do things. We don't want to do anything.
It's Easter. Go to church. It's Easter. Go to church. Good night, fisherman. Good night.
Man. Good night to you, man.
Good night. Lord have mercy, people. You can't win. I didn't start this. The question was asked in the forum, and it needs to be addressed. And I bring it up. I say go. But anyway, people, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna say this. I've always said this, by the way. Because whenever you bring up these things, people always want to accuse you wrongly. I don't care if the team is all local or all foreign-born players. And the reason why is I'm a slave to merit. I'm a slave to quality. I'm a slave to what good looks like. I have no desire to embrace mediocrity and to support mediocrity. He will never have positive outcome. If the players in Jamaica are not good enough, and I pointed out today, none of the players from Jamaica that we know of now who are playing overseas at a decent level is a midfielder, which says everything about the football programs. And Rudolph extolled the virtues of their coaching and where they are and how they've improved. Please show me the midfielders you have developed. Any of you have developed in Jamaica who are coaching our level, who have matriculated to a high level. And this is historical. We keep talking about Tapa Whitmore, who had his limits as a midfielder. Good player at his limits. That's the only midfielder we can talk to. Me somebody to make said Cargill is better than Hayden today. The other day, me have to have a laugh. We can't point to quality midfielder. Somebody may talk about Andy Williams. We can't point to any midfielder who played at high level like a Fuller played, like a Shelton played, like a Gardner played who played defense. We can point to a number of forwards. We can point to a number of defenders. We can't point to too many midfielders. And even people of heritage who were born in Jamaica, like John Barnes, like Raheem Sterling, they were forwards. Where are the midfielders? Where are the midfielders? Which is something that countries need for sustainability and to help them keep the ball and protect the defense and get the ball to people who can score the goal. Where are the midfielders being developed? Where's the technical acumen to develop those midfielders? Where is coaching ability to develop those midfielders? We can talk all we want to talk. The proof is in the pudding. Now, today's conversation was about this interview, which is more of a reflective of what transpired in the game, but also touched upon in quite a bit what transpired throughout the entire World Cup campaign. We failed miserably. We lost to a country, which is about what? Probably 15 times, right? Maybe 17 times. 170 the size of Jamaica. And if you expand Jamaica to the diaspora, probably 130 or 125. That's not okay. And we hear that Rudolph wants to be the coach. Hey, I'm sure he's going to get the job, and we'll see how it works out. But is Rudolph going to be all he does for Cavalier and the national coach, and that's allowed? Really? Don't something have to give? Don't you have to give up something? I don't think he's going to give up Cavaliers, and he wants the national team coach. So how do we manage those conflicts? I hear the new Gensec talking about conflict, and they have to work on some conflict with Andrew Peart to become the director of football. So that doesn't. So Rudolph is exempted from any of those conflict situations. How does that work? My hope is that they're less. And here's the question: I haven't heard anybody, Rudolph, anybody else talk about a comprehensive post-mortem where we start talking about hiring a coach. We're not playing football now. We go hire a coach. Do the post-mortem first, then give us the results, then go fire. What are we doing? Where's the post-mortem? I thought that the technical committee job was to, after any tournament, every situation, to do an assessment, do a post-mortem, and then provide information to the board, or if they want to for transparency, to its constituent, which is not us, which is like the parish president, because we're not part of the constituent. As they say, they're private organization, a quasi-public, what do you want to call it? They want us to come to the game, as Rudolph said. But the guy asked Rudolph, what can we do? And he said, you can't attend the game and spend some money. The other thing Rudolph could have said, he could have said, you know what? We're going to solicit advice from you. We're going to find a way for you to provide advice to us. And we may or may not take advice. We want to have promotion group. We want to have groups, forums for people where you can come together and help think about how strategically we can help the football. And you can provide it through some kind of forum to provide to us. You can see a lot of different things. But he was very dismissive, frankly. There's no thought put into it. Because we don't really matter. We do not matter. We are just, utensils to be used and then thrown away. It's sad. So I'll sign off by saying this. My hope is that Jamaica football will improve materially. There are some strides being made in certain areas. But I think we are overstating the accomplishments and understating the deficiencies, understating the losses, understating the failures. And what we normally do is, when we fail, we just brush it away. And when we win, push out our chests. Can't stop talk, but they understand the under 20. When years before we failed miserably, and when you ask them what happened, well, there's nothing to talk about because we fail. So we don't want to see you push out your chest when you see a win. We don't talk about your failures and why you fail. And you promise us that you will have post-mortem and assessment being done, and then nothing is done. You just peer talk. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But that's how we want it. The JFF failed to qualify Jamaica for the World Cup. Failed miserably. And the one thing you can point to say they fail is incompetence. That's it. No other thing I can think about. If you had the quality that you needed at all levels, you have achieved your objective. Last 2 minutes, SH, I'm done. Go ahead.
You're good?
I'm good.
Yeah, that last caller, man. Just getting on to the diaspora as usual. I can't believe some of the rhetoric I'm hearing. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it happens.
Catamar Terry should have never been taken off of the field. Speed went into business for
No,
himself.
I disagree with you, SH. He was poor. He was poor. Go check the stats. He was poor. Trust me, he was poor.
No, hold on. This is where I disagree.
Okay.
I feel like every time he made a run and got, he was one of the only players the Congo goalkeeper actually had respect for. Every time Kadamari made a run, or like it looked like the ball was going toward Kadamar Terry, the Congo goalkeeper was coming off of his line. So that shows you they did their due diligence on Kadamar Terry because they could see that the youth has an eye for goal. Now,
Yeah, but let me just say this though. The ball was bouncing off him like it's a wall. His control was poor. His link-up play was poor.
Yeah.
He didn't get a lot of service.
Yes,
but if you go check, go ahead.
What I'm saying is, no disrespect to J-Lo, he wasn't making the same type of runs, or I didn't really see the keeper coming off of like running to kind of put low off of the ball the way he was when Kadamar Terry was a legitimate threat. If you go back and actually watch it, now I get what you're saying in terms of him maybe not getting to the ball, or I'm just talking about on the runs he was making to actually get onto the ball when he was being fed the ball. The keeper was panicking and running off of his line. So that just shows you if he was given more time, maybe he would have got that one chance like he did in the previous game, and he would have scored. But if you don't give these young players enough time, you're gonna just sub them off because you want to try something different.
Right.
I don't understand. Yeah, it was a headache, man. I really don't understand what went on there. Cephas should have started on the wing, and maybe he would have provided more service.
So you just started Cephas over who? Who would you play Cephas over instead of?
He was playing on the.
He played center forward when he came on.
Side.
Well,
Terry was center forward.
Yeah.
He was playing on the other side.
No, but I said Cephas came on center forward, then he switched to the wing. He came center forward first. He replaced Cadamarti, and we had Campbell right, left, and Bailey right. Then you had him in the middle, and then eventually they moved him out to the right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken off Kadamar Terry. I would have replaced not Liam Bailey, the other winger. I would have replaced that winger with Cephas.
Yeah, he should have replaced. Bailey should have been replaced. Bailey should have been replaced
because he played on that side in the Nigeria game, and he was feeding the ball in. So it's obvious he can play that role. I've seen Cephas do it. So to not even it was a Speid went into business for himself that game there. As usual, you're trying to use the national team as a platform for that. It's just like we're aiming to get to the World Cup. I don't understand. What is this? What are you doing? He's taken off Bobby Reed and he's taken off Isaac.
No. He said this before. He said they had 4 midfielders who had to be taken off because they cramped up. Remember the ref got changed, Remember the ref got substituted, It was that bad. The weather, we haven't seen anything about the weather yet. Wait till summer come and people start playing the World Cup. Then you're going to see it's really bad. But he said he had to take players off because they cramped up. That's why he take them off. So he called them forced changes. There are forced changes. The 4 changes he made in the midfield defense were not changes made because the coach was a tactical change. They're changes made because he was fortunate. That's what he said.
Interesting.
I was told this. I asked the same question, and I was told this the same day that we lost. Somebody texted me from Mexico and tell me that. So
because once those substitutions was made, it made the job harder for Pinnock and the guys that were actually like keeping us in the game. That's what it seemed like to me. Once those 2 main substitutions was made, it just made it a lot harder for Pinnock. And then Pinnock was the only one that was protesting with the goal in extra time, saying that it was a handball. So for the referee to not even go look at the screen and just listen to whoever he's listening to on his headphones, it's ridiculous. This is a final.
Well, VAR has to send to the screen, right? VAR didn't send to the screen. VAR took a long time, but VAR made a decision which they shouldn't have made. It's not VAR decision to make. It's not VAR decision to make. Yeah.
Exactly. But the referee's supposed to go and look at the screen, no?
Well, the VAR is attempt to go to the screen. That's what normally happens. They don't just go to the screen. VAR is to tell him because VAR says, hey, go to the screen, and then they set the video for him to watch. VAR didn't say go to the screen. VAR took like 5 minutes and then decided that it wasn't a handball instead of sending him to the screen, which is ridiculous.
Interesting.
Because we all wondered why VAR was taking so long. We all wondered about that.
Yeah, it was a bit funny. And then lastly, because I know you're wrapping up, and then we'll reason another time. But
right.
When we got into extra time, it seemed like Congo was able to refresh their substitutes. They exhausted all of their substitutes in the main game, but for some reason in extra time they were able to.
No, I think they had 5, right? Didn't they have 5? I think they had 5 before we had all 6.
In the main game, it was 3 substitutions. They did all 3 substitutions, and then in the extra time,
they had 1 and 3 in the main game. They had 1 and 3 in the main game.
Remember,
they took out the entire midfield. They took out the entire midfield, you know. The entire midfield came off, you know.
Because the commentary team was saying that it was something about the rule change and it's refreshed, and that's why they're able to make.
Okay. I didn't hear. I couldn't hear anyone because I was telecasting, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, listen. Anyway, all the best to Congo, obviously, but anyway, Speed and that, all of them need to step down. You look at Italy. If Italy's whole congregation is gonna step down, JFF.
Nobody in Jamaica stepping down. This is the Caribbean. This doesn't work like that. They get rewarded. They're gonna get promotions.
Crazy.
Yeah, thanks for the call, sir. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Have a good morning, because it's early morning. What time is it there? 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, you must just come home from party. You must just coming home from partying.
Yeah, that's Good Friday anyway. But yeah, man.
All right. Thanks, best. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm gonna say good night. Thanks for being here. Appreciate being here. Before you go, people, please hit the like button. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your time. It's a difficult time for the true football fans, and even for those on the periphery. But as Fisherman did say, I have friends who are like this. They're a lot of bandwagoners, boy, and it's bad. And they have all sorts of criticism when they're not here. And it sounds like some bandwagoners are also in some of these studios asking these JFF versus questions. People, if you don't follow things in depthly, you will not be able to come across as informed when it comes to time to be in this situation as being an interviewer and interviewing the interviewee, especially somebody who's very informed about the football. So you have to spend your time and invest in yourself to be able to challenge the individuals who are sitting in certain seats and should be challenged. But at the end of the day, I do not think that anybody in life should be rewarded for failure. Now, as I said, if Rudolph has become the coach for the national team, I'm going to support the national team, and I'm going to support him and his administration, because they're the ones going to help for the team to win. But at the same time, I don't hear any accountability. It's very flippant. The pain that is felt by the country, not everybody, and everybody are football fans, I don't see it reflected in the JFF administration. They may talk a good game, but it's not reality. And the last point, us as a people, especially, I'm going to use this, not everybody in Jamaica is black, but as black people, but us as a people have to do better. Including yours truly, in terms of how we fight too much. I don't get us anywhere. Some people fight very covertly, and we fight very overtly, and it's not a good thing. And this concept and this idea about them versus us, about diaspora versus local, it's sort of nonsense and wasted energy. If you're a citizen of a country, you're a citizen. Right? If you're a Jamaican citizen, naturalized, or you're by birth, you're a Jamaican citizen, and you're supposed to get all rights and privileges for that citizen. This idea of what we want to balance team, and want to balance, and then look at money, we hear we're balanced, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Go figure out a way to get the kids to be able to compete. Don't deny somebody access. Don't deny somebody the ability to play because you want to give somebody a blight, when it's your fault a person wasn't developed to be able to get that position. Do better. All right, people? Thanks for being here, and have a wonderful Easter and a good night. Peace out.